I think it is time for NXT to take over.
Suplex City, bitch.
What's your favorite match?
My favorite match was with Melina and Alicia Fox.
Who?
I told my father I'm gonna set up my own lucha league in America, and I'm gonna make it the best league in the world.
I'm gonna leave him in a pile of blood and urine and vomit.
Welcome to the 75th episode of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. My name, if you are wondering, for this podcast that gives you the weekly wrestling news and we review every segment of Raw, is Turbo Tony. And as always, especially for this special changing episode, a milestone episode for the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast, we now have with us the man who filmed Kim Kardashian's sex video, Matt Marsander.
So that's how that look on my face just suddenly was like, you what?
Where is this going?
I mean, I would much prefer it's me, it's M-A-T.
Okay, well,
T.
To be honest, I think people have been knowing for a while that I've been running out of fucking names. So
Yeah, well, that's fine, but I'd rather not be the dirty pervert in the Kim Kardashian.
I imagine you got, I don't know, maybe you got paid for it. I don't know. You know, it's very successful sex video. Did very well for her. You know, so.
Do you know, as a result, she's now like the highest grossing porn star.
Yes.
It's just like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, people wondering, that I am changing the format of how I'm introducing Matt each week. Matt didn't even know until all this. We've been talking about this episode for a while, and Matt didn't know.
He still keeps the secrets.
I might bang in a wrestler-themed intro every now and then, but I had to shake things up, guys. 75 episodes. You know what I mean? You know, I was struggling to come up with them. And I'm sure I've repeated a few of them, you know, every now and then. Without further ado, though, how are you doing this week, Matt?
Yeah, not too bad.
Not too bad.
I think it's sort of just preparing myself for the whole heap of wrestling next week.
Yes, a lot of wrestling.
There's a lot coming up.
Yeah. Which, you know, kind of fits in well with our 75th episode. I hope you guys did enjoy the new intro, ending with the famous words of blood, urine, and vomit, which I'm sure this show will hopefully not give you. That would be quite bad of us to do that for you, but I'm sure we'll give you that in less quantities than a certain Brock Lesnar.
Some things we want to try and avoid.
Yes, yeah, exactly. As always, Matt, would you like to plug our Twitter handle?
What, the handle of @TalkWrestlePod?
Of course it is. It rolls straight off the tongue for you there, Matt. You're the master of doing it. So @TalkWrestlePod is the Twitter handle, and this is, as I said, the 75th episode. You can see all the new graphics, the intro, and even new, like for instance, you can look down our bottom left thing. We've had like the black and white. We're now rocking the white and red. Yeah, that's it.
It's like pink and black at some point.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Maybe. We've already done pink for the Cancer Awareness Month that we did, remember? That was tons of episodes ago. So, I always remember that being funny because that was the episode that we ripped off Kathy Lee Hifford and Hoda for that fucking horrendous segment. But I know, I'm sorry. To start the podcast, reminding everyone of those dire days.
He wants to avoid blood, piss, and vomit.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Big episode for you guys, and I hope you do like all the changes. Give us your thoughts on them and everything in regards to that. Truth be told, I wasn't planning on doing that much change. I was probably just going to change some of the audio clips, but keep the backing track, and I wasn't planning on doing as much with the graphics as I was. It just turned out that I was like, fuck it, let's do it. You know?
Yeah, why the hell not?
Why the hell not? Let's just do it. So, a lot of the stuff that I was planning for, episode 100 has been moved to closer. So it's awesome for you guys. You get to see all that early. What have we got for this special episode, this 75th milestone episode of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast? We have our wrestling news of the week, as we always have each week. That's it. Fan feedback. We've got plenty of questions, obviously, from you guys, which we do love answering. There was a few, I think, that I missed out on this week because they came in a little bit later than when I did my notes up for them, and I apologise. I just know there was a few that came in a little bit later in the week, so I do apologise if you aren't on this episode. I will try and catch you next time. We also have our NXT report card, which is going down the storm with you guys. I know you guys are liking that. Is it becoming your favourite segment again, Matt? Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's sort of just like a nice little discussion
Yeah.
rather than this is what we got. It's more, what do you think?
We may end up having to add change it from eventually NXT to just non WWE report cards, just so we can talk about Lucha Underground guys as well, because we've been enjoying Lucha Underground a lot recently. And also we've got a Raw review. We review every segment of Raw, and then we have our Payback predictions. Exactly. Yeah.
I think you still messed that up as well.
No, I purposefully I messed that up eventually. Yeah, Payback. Yeah, so it sounds like a really bad financial plan, but still. So I'm already messing up already. This is exactly what's going to be honest. This is what happens when I drink beers, people. Okay, so that's what happens. I just slur my words and everything like that. So yeah, a hefty show for you this week with some juicy bits of information and news for you guys. So let's get right into it here. First piece of news: the Elimination Chamber has returned. And when I say returned, it wasn't so much removed as in it was just moved. If you remember, this is the first year that they used Fastlane, and Fastlane took the slot from Elimination Chamber. Interesting thing about this is that the Elimination Chamber will be coming back as a WWE Network exclusive, and it seems like it's just been rammed in the middle of the month.
Yeah, I don't get it. I'm finding it really odd, especially considering their reason was not enough arenas can logistically handle the chamber. It's like, okay, but you're willing to do one as a network exclusive?
Yeah, it does seem a bit odd.
You can just find one, we're not even paying ticket. Well, it's still going to be a live crowd, but it's we're not even going to be doing pay-per-view prices or anything like that. It's just going to be,
Yeah, obviously...
we got somewhere, let's just do it.
One of the things, obviously, that WWE are thinking about this is that it's obviously good business for their for the network. One thing I'd argue with is that spoonhorning in. Look at it this way, right? We've got Payback this today for you guys, right? Yeah. In 2 weeks' time, we have Elimination Chamber. In a couple of weeks after that, we've got the pay-per-view that's after that. So talk about oversaturation, Jesus! They've got literally 2 episodes of Raw to build up both shows.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the Elimination Chamber, I don't think they're building up, because it's like a pay-per-view. It's just sort of meh, we got the IC titles that we need to find a champion for. Yeah, let's just chuck it in the chamber.
Yeah, the rumour is that it will be an IC title match and a tag team title match. And the tag team one I'm interested in. Yeah. We've never had a tag team Elimination Chamber match. That sounds to me like they could do something pretty cool with the dynamics of that there. That's something new. And
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of sort of speculation and sort of toing and froing. It's are we going to have a 3-team? Teams?
You could have it.
The other guy of the team is in the pod.
I would personally like to have it as 6 teams.
6 teams. So 2 teams start and then 6 teams in the out. 4 other teams in the outside. Yeah,
the way I would do it, right, because it's the Elimination Chamber, it's not if one of your team gets pinned, both of you lose, it's you have to pin one and then you have to pin the other one, right? Can you think of the action then? That means you technically have to have 11 falls in that match. It could be balls to the wall action. That's the reason I'm thinking of that. But
yeah, but I mean that could work if you just had 3 teams, for example.
Yeah, exact same thing.
But yeah, I can completely agree. If Sin Cara got pinned, Kalisto doesn't have to leave. He just doesn't have an ally in that chamber.
And he could technically then win it for the pair of them if he wins.
Yeah.
So it's not the 2 last people are named the tag team champions. No, it's not like that. It's whoever's the last team that's alive.
Last team member standing.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way I would do it. But yeah, I mean, it just seems really shoehorned in. Obviously, I'm excited because I was one of those people that thought, I mean, let's face it, Fastlane would have been better if it was Elimination Chamber. It would have been a better show.
Yeah.
But that being said, I mean, maybe part of the reason why the chamber itself was a bit awkward is that they used to have 2 chamber matches each event, and they used to be for the 2 big belts, and then they couldn't have any of them. The Brock Lesnar wasn't at Elimination Chamber, wasn't at Fastlane, and it's just,
It would have just been like an elimination chamber for like #1 contendership or something like that.
Yeah, which...
But that pisses over like the Royal Rumble, so...
Well, they kind of did the Daniel Bryan match anyway, but no, it's the thing that worries me, as you say there, Matt. Though, is this oversaturation. That's 3 pay-per-views in a space of 4 weeks.
Mm.
Yeah, we've got today. In 2 weeks, we've got another one, and in 2 weeks after that, we've got another one. That is a bit much, especially considering. One of the things I liked, this is just
there's one thing other, because to say that, because King of the Ring used to be a pay-per-view, and we had that only 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but that was only a 1 hour show, so that's all right in my book.
Yeah,
that's fine.
But still, it's like, this is just like a lot of extra content that we, like, the regular fan can take it or leave it, but we as sort of podcasters, we kind of have to watch it.
Yeah.
Sort of like a regular fan can sort of take or leave. Like, I don't really need to watch King of the Ring, or I'm probably not going to catch Elimination Chamber. I'll find out eventually. But you and me as podcasters was like, great, now we have to watch it.
Yeah.
That's another 1, 2, 3 hours of footage.
Well, didn't we say, like, over WrestleMania period, didn't we have like the crazy moment of we had to watch like over 10 hours of wrestling that week? It was just
like, not even to mention the 2-hour pre-show.
Yeah, exactly. Like everything all included, it was just absolutely bonkers to be able to watch
ridiculous.
that much. But still, we will get through it all. But one of the problems that WWE find at the moment is that they will find is that the same problem that WCW had. They oversaturated their market. They gave too much.
Yeah.
And believe me, like, I'm not starved for wrestling. I struggle to get through Raw some weeks, so yeah, that's the bottom line of it here. But still, I am excited, at least, like I said, more so for the tag team match, because there is a lot of different things they can do with it.
Yeah.
So, and come on, it's going to be
so many variables.
Cesaro and Kid in there. I'm more excited to see what those two guys are going to do in that elimination chamber.
Yeah.
You're going to see a lot of guys in that environment that wouldn't normally ever be in that environment. So
that's it.
That's good. Even though,
especially considering you're going to get some guys who've never even been in a cage match, let alone or a Hell in a Cell, and I was like, the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
It's like worse than all of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. At the end of the day, I am a fan of the Chamber. I do think it's a good match type. And there can be some moments where things go crazy. I still remember Goldberg spearing, I think it was Chris Jericho through one of the pods or something like that. Just mental.
I still remember Santino nearly winning, and I was almost ready to be happy about that. Because he put on a really good showing.
I know, that was crazy. And literally had the entire arena going mental for Santino getting that close to winning it. So, so Elimination Chamber. I wonder if you guys are actually happy of this being back. I think you're happy that the Elimination Chamber itself is back. It's just the placing of it is a bit odd, but there we go. Maybe these guys had tickets to what they thought was going to be like, just like a house show, and then suddenly it's just turned up. Oh, now it's Elimination Chamber, and it's on the network. And it's like awesome,
Wow.
Yeah.
The only thing I worry about is actually just on another thing. It's like, when we went to Raw and we had all the Superstars tapings.
Yeah.
It's all just going to be like that. It's like, you think you'll have to sit through some Superstars, but actually, no, there's a big-ass chamber.
Yeah, just going to be dropped down. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to go about it. I haven't done that much research, actually, into it, to be honest, in regards to how they're getting around it. But I know that one of the reasons why they're doing it in Corpus Christi is because, like, as you said, it's one of the only arenas that hasn't had, like, modern renovations, which stop the chamber from being in there, so...
Yeah.
Still, we'll see what things go on from there, and it will crown a new IC champion because of what happened later. Moving on, we will talk about that particular craziness in a minute. Ronda Rousey is in the news this week. She had a few interviews with a few people, and the general consensus of what she said when it comes to WWE is that she's going to try her best, essentially, to get back involved with WWE again.
Yeah.
This goes against a lot of the stuff that Dana White was saying, which was she ain't doing anything with WWE. And the thing here is, right, normally I'm with Dana White with a lot of the things that he says and does, because I do think, in terms of a person running a company, I do think he's better than Vince, right? Because he gives people what they want, right? Whereas Vince has a lot of way of kind of going around things along those lines. However, when it comes to Ronda Rousey and him saying that sort of stuff, he's saying it more so of hoping, because I firmly believe that Ronda Rousey now has transcended UFC. Right,
she is bigger than UFC. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, she could make a living happily outside of UFC easily. Right, she's I would say bigger than UFC, but she's a household name on her own. right?
Yeah.
She doesn't need UFC to be that household name. She is that now.
Yeah.
So Dana White obviously wants her to stay. She's going to say stuff like, "Oh, we know we're going to do this and everything." But if Ronda really wants to do it, there's not much that really he can do to stop her.
That's it. Well, especially if she suddenly just goes, "Fine, I'll go free agent."
Yeah, like that's one of the
Dana
things.
has no say.
Yeah. I imagine one of the things that Dana White will say is like, look, you've got a multi-fight contract with us, which I do believe she has. So you have to, you're obligated to follow that, and she is, and she's not going to like throw away her contract. That's not the type of woman she is.
Yeah.
But the good money is to be able to keep her on after that, right? So he may open up the checkbook, and money, is a good way of trying to stop someone going
Money
somewhere
speaks.
else. Money speaks, yeah. It would be interesting because of what Rousey said along those lines. It definitely seemed to me as if like this isn't something that she's just going to just push aside. This is something that she wants to do. She's a big wrestling fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rowdy Ronda Rousey. There was a reason she's called that. Rowdy Roddy Piper. She was a big fan, and that was kind of over. So, yeah, that is bad news for Dana White. All these words coming out from Rousey's mouth. I bet Dana's just like fuck. Because she is one of the biggest draws, if not the biggest draw UFC has at the moment for fights.
I mean, that's it. I mean, as someone who doesn't watch UFC, like I know of its existence and things like that, and I have seen fights. But if anyone turned to me and went, name a UFC fighter, I'm probably just going to go, Rousey.
Yeah. She's the biggest name in UFC right now. Easy.
Yeah.
And I know that McGregor and Aldo probably will do big business for UFC, but still, because of her huge popularity, there was a massive surge of popularity over the last 18 months, and before that as well, but mainstay over the last 18 months. She has transcended. She's got above UFC now. So if she really chooses to, okay, I want to go into pro wrestling or I want to do stuff with the WWE, that's her choice. Dana can't do that much apart from throw money at her and hope she accepts.
And say, please don't. Okay, I'll put a 0 at the end of that.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, she's locked down now, but who's to say down the line, once she's got those couple of fights, I don't know what her contract is like, but once she gets those fights out of the way, then she goes to WWE or on those lines. So it is interesting, because Rousey, as popular as she is, and much of a household name she is, her destiny is firmly in her own hands. So
that's it.
And in this situation, I'm going to listen to much more of what she says rather than what Dana White says. For at very least the long term. Short term, yeah, fair enough. He's got her under contract, but still. Along those lines. Daniel Bryan has vacated the Intercontinental Championship due to injury.
Mm-hmm.
I brought this up on the news because it is a huge talking point, and this did happen on Raw, so we'll just reference what actually happened there later on in the podcast. But yeah, let me pose this to you, Matt, because I want to get your first take after I've given you the facts of this. 2 championships, 2 years, 2 injuries, 2 vacations. Your first
the thing is, there's still some speculation of whether it's like, you say 2 injuries, but there's some that even think the first injury was never surgically repaired. It was still done through physio. So is it just the same problem, just flagged up again?
That he didn't deal with the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be made. I think the only person that can answer that probably is Bryan himself.
Yeah.
Because there isn't that much come out about his injury and everything along those lines. So here's another question. Here's the other thing I want to pose to you. Right, this is a more conclusive thing. Right,
Yeah.
All things considered, we were asked by a fan a couple of weeks ago if Daniel Bryan should retire, and we said no, with the pretense being that if he returned within the time frame, which was the month, which he should have returned at now. And obviously now we know he might not wrestle again. There is a chance of that. There was a chance the first time.
It might not be the case.
That might be the case. Do you think he should just retire now and move into a non-wrestling role? Now, knowing what we know now.
Yeah.
That's the money question right there. Should he retire? Obviously, so yeah, what do you think? What's your thought?
It's tough. I'm leaning more towards yes.
I have to agree.
I'm not going to say I don't ever want to see Daniel Bryan again.
No, that's not what we're saying.
If he gets healed up and he gets cleared again, then maybe. But sort of almost just go on a baseball policy, 3rd strike and call it a day.
Yeah, but
if once again oh, my shoulder and or neck. Right.
Yeah.
Call it.
Yeah, go from there. Yeah, it's maybe a good way of going about it. I'm with you. I'm leaning more towards yes than I thought I would be. And the reason being is because, mate, I just get the feeling with Bryan. This is my take on it. And obviously, we don't know as much as Bryan knows. He's the architect of his own destiny to a degree, right?
Yeah.
Is that his mind wants to go, but his body's taking too much damage over his lengthy career, and his body's saying, I can't do it anymore. Sometimes that happens.
Do you know what? This sucks.
Yeah, sometimes it happens. You can't all be fucking injury fucking destroying machines like John Cena is, right? Sometimes some bodies just can't hack it. They can't continue. The one thing I will say, regardless of whether he comes back or not, Daniel Bryan, I am firmly thinking right now that he will never be WWE World Champion again. Ever.
No.
Categorically. I can say that very confidently. Any chance that he had of being champion again went as soon as he vacated the IC title. He could be IC champion again, because it doesn't matter as much. But any chance of being the big dog in the company, done. Instantly done.
Like, not to say that he won't ever be in, like, high-end matches. Like, if they brought the Elimination Chamber back for good, for example, there's nothing to say he can't be one of the 6.
Yeah, he could be in title matches.
But he won't be the one in the 6.
Yeah, he won't win the belt. Right?
No.
Because WWE now he's got a reputation, right? Of, okay, we give this guy a chance, and then he fucking gets injured, and then we have to move the whole plans that we had set around for the next 6 months completely around because he couldn't hack it, right? And I know it's like I said, I don't like saying it because I'm a big fan of Bryan, but I can kind of see where they're coming from, right?
Yeah.
We said back when Bryan was injured last year, should he vacate the belt? We said yes, absolutely, he should vacate the belt, right? And you may argue
because I can't defend it. Exactly.
Yeah.
But then they gave it to Lesnar.
Yeah, that's a lot of people's response to that. Oh, well, Lesnar defended it like not many more times more.
But was more physically capable of defending it.
Yeah, that was all down to WWE, and the fact is that like it's different from a guy who just from a heel, because he was a heel then, right? Let's listen to it this way. Lesnar, he had the persona of I'll defend it whenever the fuck I want to defend it, right? Whenever I feel like I want to.
How's it going to affect my wallet?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I'll do it then.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to pay me a shit ton of money to defend my title at Night of Champions? Fuck it. Okay, fair enough. I'll be there. Right? And but with Bryan, the thought of it was, oh, you've got this WWE World Champion, but you can't defend it because he's injured. And everyone knew he was injured, and he couldn't really get away from that. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying that's the general thought of it, right? But as I said, any Daniel Bryan fans, including us, it's a sad day because, one, there's a chance he may never come back again, and two, I think any chance of him being world champion's done. Absolutely. What about then? Let's talk about it. Worst chance scenario. He retires. What non-physical role would you assign to him? I wouldn't get rid of Bryan. I'd keep him in the company. But how would you use him? Like, is it commentary manager, maybe trainer, NXT?
I'd probably use him as an NXT trainer. I wouldn't use him as an agent or anything like that.
Yeah, I think the best place for Daniel Bryan, in the short term, maybe isn't. If he's going to NXT, I'd much rather him be on TV. So maybe maybe commentating there, or maybe doing something there. But obviously away from that, yeah. If you've got somebody who just been told you can't wrestle anymore, the one thing that is going to at least help him with that is passing on his knowledge. And who better to do it to than the NXT guys, right? That's a win-win for everyone in the situation that you're in, right? That Bryan gets to do what I hope he loves anyway, passing on that knowledge and sharing his experiences, with these people, and still being on TV because he's a big name, makes more people want to watch NXT. And then the NXT guys, you've got fucking Daniel Bryan there, and he is one of the best technical wrestlers alive today. So that's a win-win for me in that situation. So yeah, go from there. Horrendous news though, man. I fucking feel for the guy. I really do. It must be.
Oh yeah, it would probably suck sitting it on Raw. It's like, oh.
Yeah. It must really suck for him. It must be so frustrating. It really does.
Yeah.
I've been in that situation before in terms of physically competing, where you want to give it to your all, but your body isn't answering the call. right? He just won't respond, and it's a very frustrating thing because there's nothing much you can really do about it, and that's the bottom line of it there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the news for the week. It does suck for Bryan, unfortunately, and yeah.
I will say one thing.
Go on.
We've heard the speculations. Well, there's also who was at NXT Live.
There's a few people, yeah. NXT, yeah.
Like of Tommy Dreamer, for example.
Yeah.
But then have you also seen the pictures and heard the whisperings of a certain Samoan?
Oh, yes, I have. Yes, of Mr. Joe.
Mr. Joe, indeed. He's looking very good for himself.
Yeah, right, yeah. The pictures coming out is that he has lost a bit of weight, and he's looking very, I wouldn't like to say lean, but he looks in better shape.
Yeah.
Should we all agree with that? Yeah, I think that's probably better way to say it. And obviously, which probably means along the lines of he knew he was always going to sign for WWE and go to NXT or do stuff there, or go into the main roster. You could do anything with this guy. It's awesome for WWE, right? But he obviously knew, and he's been training his ass off, right?
Yeah.
So fair play on the guy. Yes, very excited. Very excited for his involvement. One of the matches I said I wanted to see this year, if it can be done, is Kevin Owens versus Samoa Joe. That's a match I will pay cash money to see. Cash money. All right. So
I will even pay my $9.99 just for that match.
Yes, I'd be that. Fucking hell, that's value right there. Right.
Yeah.
30-minute match with those two guys. Well, I know it probably won't be up. 25 minutes maybe. I don't know. I mean, the Sami Zayn one went on for roughly around that time. So, yeah, anyway, regardless of that, 20 minutes plus Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens in the ring. Yeah. You can have I'll open up my wallet. Hell, you can take 2 months worth for that. I'll
Make me happy.
Make me happy with that, yeah. So, fan feedback, Matt. We've got a few humdingers of questions. You've been waiting for me to say that, haven't you?
It feels like it's been a while.
It has been a while. I've been saving it for this episode. I haven't had much humdinger stuff recently. In terms of Raw and everything like that. But we've got a few humdinger questions here for you this week. So, we begin. Alex from Wrestling Boom asks, what rivalry that we haven't seen would we like to see happen this year? Now, when I heard this question, unfortunately, it's a tough one because it seems to me, just by general thinking, that everyone has kind of worked with everyone else at this point, right? Now, it's very rare to get a new rivalry going at the moment. In a dream world, and like this will never happen, but it's a dream world. I would like to see Cesaro versus Lesnar, but that's not going to happen, right? We're a million miles away from that happening, right? But yeah, to be honest, it was hard when I got this question because you look at trying to look at the big name matches you can have. Even when you look at the newer guys, like all the Shield guys, they've already worked with everyone, right?
Now I had one.
Okay,
and it kind of works because it went in with how Raw opened.
Go on.
Triple H versus Rollins.
That would be a match I wouldn't mind seeing. Maybe Triple H gets sick and tired of him, tries to win the belt himself,
or just if Rollins loses the belt, for example, becomes a whiny little bitch about it. Honey, stand up for your... And yeah, I love it. I think it'd be good.
One of the ways that you could go about it, I don't particularly like it because I don't want the strap to be put back on Lesnar. But you could have like a story where maybe Lesnar comes back.
I'm not saying Lesnar gets the strap back.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But the way I'd look at it is that, Lesnar beats him, but Rollins was banking on the Authority to save him. They don't because Lesnar then beats him. And then he bitches and moans, why didn't you help me? And Triple H was like, well, now you're just being too awkward. I'm going to have to put you down myself. Yeah. But that ain't going to happen. But... yeah, okay, that would be something to be interested in. The problem is, like I said, what's really sad is that when this question came up, there wasn't two people. I was like, I want this guy against this guy. It's like, but we've already seen a lot of it already,
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of a shame in regards to that. I'd like to see what Alex has to say. What is the rivalry he most wants to see? And hopefully he's got one. I'll be like, yes, you were right on the money with that because I can't think of anything. What about you? Anything that comes off?
That was mine.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Crimson Omega asks if we think Uhaa Nation will be the first fully black WWE champion. He thinks that, Crimson thinks that he's got a good chance of being, or he will be, because he's got the look, the talent, and he's young as well, hasn't taken as much damage to his body. For people that maybe don't know, Uhaa Nation is the guy that they're using in the NXT vignettes. He hasn't actually had a debut yet, but they've done this vignette with him.
They've been building him, yeah.
Yeah, and I've checked some of his stuff. Of what I've seen, now first of all, part of me doesn't like answering the question with the term "fully black," because I think because the question was first fully black WWE champion, because I don't know how. The black community view someone like The Rock. I know some of them don't think that he's black or anything along those lines. So it's a grey area for us. So rather, I'm going to answer whether I think Uhaa Nation will be WWE champion. That makes it a bit more morally less ambiguous for myself to answer, right? Do I think Uhaa Nation could be WWE champion? Yes, I do think he could, right? You look at his build. His build is something that Vince is going to jack off over, right?
Yeah, he will love it.
Yeah. He's got a good look. I think everyone can agree with that, right? Good-looking guy. His age, as you say, is a plus, right? If he's got good athleticism, as far as I've seen, he's pretty athletic. It's all down to whether Vince looks at him and says, you could be the lead of my company for at least a couple of months.
Yeah. It's whether Vince looks at him and just goes, you look like money.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, what's good for him is I do think that any black wrestler that comes into WWE, I think the biggest chance they have of winning the title is by having the physique that someone like Uhaa Nation has, and has great personality. So if he's got great personality to add on to what he's got, then he's done everything he can, right? Really. His in-ring work doesn't even have to be that good, right?
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people that I firmly believe if Lashley had stuck around, he would have been world champion. But he didn't. So
yeah,
that's the way it gone. But I think...
I was thinking that just now, because I was just sort of like, I'm really struggling with his name now. Ezekiel Jackson.
Okay, yeah.
Looks really good, but sort of like lacking a little bit.
Yeah,
now I've seen him in the backstage footage on Lucha Underground. I was like, that was just so great.
Yeah, yeah, because he's used in the role that's perfect for him as Big Rick, isn't he?
Big Rick. Yeah. Just the fact that it's like, why? Because I can beat you up. That's why.
Matt, I have been an Ezekiel Jackson fan since I first saw the guy. Right?
Yeah.
I thought that guy could do some crazy stuff. And he's just got the physique he's got is fucking... Like, that's a visual right there. I always thought that Zeke would have been really good for WWE, and it's a shame things didn't work out for him.
Yeah.
Even though obviously things are going fine for him now in Lucha. But, whether or not Uhaa Nation... Yeah, he's got all the tools. I'd say all the tools that he needs. Someone like R-Truth always had something bad going for him when he came in, because he wasn't a big build, and he could be great in the ring, but WWE weren't really going to look him in that fashion. Yeah. Kofi, kind of the same. Even Big E to a certain extent. Yeah, he's a big guy, and he's got the personality. But I just think Uhaa, when you look at him, he's just a little bit more marketable than Big E was, right? That you could have him as your top guy, right? So it's up to him now not to give WWE any excuses to look at him otherwise, right? And it is hard, because often you can make one mistake, and one mistake all it is for Vince to look at you as, I'm not going to trust you anymore. You're not the guy I want. Unfortunately, Vince is very fickle, right? Like that. He'll make those decisions regardless of whether or not you deserve it or not. You just have to not give them reason to doubt you, right? So, but yeah, in terms of to answer this question a little bit more, out of any black wrestler currently in WWE, do I think Uhaa Nation has more chance than any of them? Yes.
Yeah.
Because he's new, and some people like Big E, you can kind of tell that when they came in and debuted, there's a certain level of where they're going to go, because how much they get pushed at a certain point. It's very rare that like the Daniel Bryan will happen, where the fans get behind this guy and try and boost him up. I don't think that's going to happen with Big E. Well, I know it won't happen with Big E, so hopefully Uhaa will be the one. What about you? Do you think are you on the same sort of thinking as I am in regards to Uhaa Nation?
Yeah, I have no doubts about Uhaa Nation.
Yeah, I think he'd be good. I think, regardless of whether he's going to be champion or not, our thoughts on him is very positive. I think he's got a lot. He's
always going to be strong.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to his debut. I'm looking forward to seeing just how ready he is. So
yeah,
let's have a look. Daniel Massey asks us to name the perfect 4v4 or 5v5, I did go with a 5v5, Survivor Series dream match with any wrestler from any era in their prime. This is a pretty bad, this is literally just like, this is a question that you ask your friends at a pub, right? So I love answering these sort of questions.
It's like a proper dream booking one, isn't it?
Here's my lineup, Matt. I know you didn't look through the questions this week. I spent a lot of time over this, and I still think...
Oh, great. You spent time over this. I'm going to get like a minute.
Yeah. Well, I'll go through mine anyway, and that way you'll get some thoughts. I did, obviously, the heel versus face team. Of course. And I know that here, I know there's one or two guys that I've missed out. I'm just going to kick myself with. There's just so much I had to do this week. This is what I drummed up, thinking of it. For the heels... Brock Lesnar, as in the guy who broke the streak, Brock Lesnar, right? Jake the Snake Roberts, Ric Flair, Andre the Giant, and CM Punk.
Ooh.
Right? With the manager being, I think this is a bit, well, it's actually quite hard. What?
Heyman or Heenan?
I went with Heenan.
But it would have to be one of the two.
Yeah, it was very close, right? So much so that I kind of wanted the face manager to be somewhat like Paul Heyman being face, but I can't put Paul Heyman and face in the same sort of sentence. You know, looking at it as like a dream match, right? He's obviously best as a heel. Everyone knows that. So.
Yeah.
So that's my heel team. My face team: Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yep.
Bret Hart, the Macho Man Randy Savage, The Rock, and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Because he is, the big thing in Japan, and I think the guy's awesome. So that's just my thoughts on it. Now, one obvious absentee from that list, you may think, well, two of them. One of them would be John Cena. People know I haven't been too much of a fan of John Cena. I couldn't put him in a list with all those other names. And Hulk Hogan. I'm looking for my personal dream match. Hogan, for me, never has put in a great match. That could be up to the list of the rest of these group, right? And I think that people like The Rock, I look at the promos he could give before this, and just ripping off all the heels would just be amazing, right? So
you can literally just line them up and go, Rocky, go,
yeah, do your thing. And who would manage them? Now that's a tough one, because really, when you look at face managers, there aren't too many that really stand out.
No.
So I thought, as you got the Macho Man in there, you got to have one that, had to have a face manager that everyone loves.
I knew it. I was just got like, and who would the manager be? I was like, he's got Macho. He's going to have Miss Elizabeth.
Yeah, I went with Miss Elizabeth.
Yeah.
So, but I did a few reserves. Are you ready for my reserves?
Oh, okay.
For the heels, I decided to go with Big Van Vader from his WCW days.
Oh, the Destroyer Van Vader, yeah.
And the hypocrite Chris Jericho.
Okay,
when he was doing You're a Bunch of Hypocrites and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I love the promo.
2008 Jericho.
Yeah. And in my face, I've got The Undertaker, who probably should be in that team, and Daniel Bryan in the yes phase of Daniel Bryan leading up to Mania 30. So they're the ones I know I've missed a few. I know there's going to be like a couple of them. Someone's going to be like, how could you not put this guy on the list? I'm sure I've missed a few. That's why I pretend it with that. So
okay.
Have you been able to build up at least any in your five?
I can think of a few that I would happily have, but I can't.
Is there any? Okay, I'll make it easy for you. Is there any in the list that I have that you would replace that with someone else?
I would have Edge on heel.
Ooh, okay, fair
enough. Sort of like first title, like sex show with Lita, Edge.
Yeah, he was good as that. Two big absentees, by the way, from this list are Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
That's I didn't even realise, yeah.
Let me explain some of my thoughts on this, by the way. Jake the Snake, I think, is one of the most underrated heel of all time. One of them, right? Because he was really good.
He's probably overshadowed by his history.
Yeah. Ric Flair, legendary. The reason I put Andre the Giant in there is because he is like, he is a big giant. I know Hulk. You wouldn't say Hulk Hogan would do a lot.
Why
of stuff
don't you just have the Big Show then?
Yeah, it's for me. There's just an element of mystery around Andre during that period that he was there that was kind of unmatched. So And you can have I just love the moment of maybe Tanahashi being the guy to step up against Andre, right? And just being the one to kind of get
Oh, Godzilla!
No, God. Shameless pay-per-view plot, Matt. Shameless pay-per-view plot. What are you doing?
Unfortunately, that is a meme that I saw about Itami.
Oh, really? With Big Show. Yeah, fair enough. Is there anyone else you'd put in there? Would you maybe put Heyman instead of Heenan? That is a tough call.
No.
That's the toughest call I had to make.
That is, but I think it's the right one.
Yeah. The reason being I thought of this is because while Heyman would be great, I think Heenan would be better in the duration of the match itself. So
it's sort of almost with a maths lesson here, but it's just sort of they're both 99% perfect.
Yes.
But Heenan is 99% because he's been rounded down from 99.1 and Heyman's rounded up from 98.9.
Yeah, it's that close.
That's close. They're both on par, but one's only slightly better.
Yeah, no, I get it. I think the one thing that maybe puts it over for me is that, if you were to look at it at the stat sheet of those two guys, Paul Heyman is the best manager for one guy that has ever lived, in my opinion, right? No one could ever be a better manager for Brock Lesnar than there was Paul Heyman. But Bobby Heenan did it for multiple wrestlers. So when you're looking at a 5-man team, then maybe Heenan would be the better choice. That's maybe probably what I would say about that. So
Eddie on face.
Oh, don't do that to me. Yeah, I mean, I did love, especially Eddie just won the title, Eddie.
Yeah,
right. That I loved that Eddie. I mean, I fucking love Eddie anyway. Everyone knows that, but that's just heartbreaking right there. So, anything else that we want to say about that before we move on? Because you've broken my heart.
No, because I was about to go Benoit on the heel team.
No, God, no. We're moving on. Jonathan Ramos asks, how would we book WrestleMania 32? He did say 31, but I'm assuming he meant that. Sorry, he said 31, but I'm assuming he meant 32.
Yeah.
He said that we're Tony H and you're Vince McMahon. So you'll die in a couple of decades, and I'll have your empire. So
that's very true.
Here are my 7 matches for the card. This one I was a lot more sure about when I put these matches on. And there are a few people missing from this, but this is just what I would probably like to see. Okay? So, your big money thing that you put up on all your posters is Brock Lesnar versus The Rock. Non-title. Doesn't have any title.
Just to have.
Doesn't need the belt. Brock Lesnar, The Rock, the Hollywood star versus the Beast Incarnate. One man walks out, who's the true guy in WWE, right? Yeah. That's a big money match that I think will draw a lot of fans in, right? So that's your big match that will get a lot of people through. I would do Undertaker versus Sting, double retirement. I know a lot of people said to me, wow, you didn't want these guys to wrestle, but it's WrestleMania, and you if it's the double retirement match, that is big money. Right, so,
they're both gonna leave at the end of it.
Yeah, both. Regardless, win, loss, draw, they're both done, right? And they both throw down their stuff, shake hands at the end of the match, walk up the ramp together, enjoy everything. The match everyone wanted has finally happened, and then everyone can have a happy ending with that. Okay.
Yeah.
Reigns versus Rollins versus Ambrose for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. The Shield guys for the title in a triple threat match.
Ooh.
That's what I would book. Paige versus Charlotte for the Divas Championship.
Yeah.
Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania. Again, that's what I would do. And this would involve, now listen to these participants, because this is mouth-drooling. Neville.
Yeah.
Tyson Kidd.
Mm-hmm.
Cesaro. Sami Zayn. Kalisto. Wade Barrett. Bray Wyatt. And Luke Harper. I think that would be a kick-ass Money in the Bank ladder match.
Wyatt and Harper?
Yeah, because they're the guys that are going to go fucking mental, go all hardcore. Rather than doing flips, they're going to slam people into stuff, so...
Yeah, okay, yeah.
That's why I was going to go about it. Because, come on, you've got Neville, Kidd, Zayn and Kalisto. I think the high-flying thing is kind of done, right? I think you've got that in abundance.
Yeah, but I think... I was thinking you could probably have Sheamus or... Hell, we're talking a year down the line. So we could have Owens...
Oh no,
or
you haven't. Yeah, you haven't got my last 2 matches.
Corbin.
Yeah, you haven't got my last 2 matches. So
Okay.
now Sheamus doesn't make it onto my list. Corbin doesn't either. Right, so there's that because I just don't think Corbin's ready. IC title match. Let's just say he doesn't retire. I would like to see Bryan and Ziggler for the IC title in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, ideally maybe a 3 stages of hell match, but I don't think they'll go that far with the IC title. So, and my wouldn't be my curtain opener. The Money in the Bank probably would be, but sometime during the match, I would like to see Kevin Owens as the NXT champion defending the NXT championship against Finn Balor, and I would like to see Finn Balor's entrance on the grandest stage of them all. That's my perfect card for WrestleMania 32. It's a dream card. It won't happen, but that is my.
I think we will see Balor's entrance at 32.
I do. I think we'll see Balor at 32. I firmly believe that.
Yeah.
But we won't see an NXT defense at that show. But
yeah.
And there's implications for that. I'm not saying whether that's right or not. Part of the reason there is actually a good case, maybe even made by myself, that the NXT title shouldn't be defended at WrestleMania. And it's not so much of it's not big enough. It's because you muddy NXT with the main roster. That I don't want NXT anywhere close to the main roster. That's what I'm trying to say. So, yeah, that's my thing. Would you change anything with that? Would you add anything else?
I would probably actually. I agree with your Paige and Charlotte. I would probably make it a fatal 4-way.
Okay.
And include Sasha Banks.
Okay.
And Naomi.
Okay, fair enough. Okay.
I don't want the Bellas in it.
The only thing I would say about that is that the reason why maybe I picked a singles match is because WWE tend to try and shoehorn in a lot of divas when it comes to Mania time for no reason, you know?
Yeah.
That's the main reason why I went for that. But plus, I think that Paige and Charlotte would tear the house down. But,
oh, yeah.
Anything else?
I really need to look into these questions more.
Did I say they put some humdingers?
You run this YouTube channel. You know that when the questions go up, there's me just like, oh yeah, it's time to record. Fan feedback. Oh yeah.
Oh shit. I kind of enjoy it. I have to say, there's a perverse joy in me doing that. So, you know, in regards to that. So, would you like to come back to it?
Thanks, Dan. Yeah. Solid.
Yeah. Next question. If you got any ideas, you just shout them as you go along. Kane St. Dennis, who by the way is like on a streak of asking us questions. He's been you keep the streak alive, damn it, keep the streak alive. Asks, who do we think is the most underused diva in WWE right now? He did put a suggestion there. I haven't made the note there in regards to that. I personally, as soon as I thought of underused diva, my mind instantly went to Emma. She can wrestle circles, and I really do mean she can wrestle circles around the majority of the roster, and it just seems to me that even though I could see it, it doesn't mean I agree with it, but the one mistake she had cost her everything. And
and that's the unfortunate truth to it.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it, WWE only rehired her because they knew they would get flack if they didn't, right? They wanted her gone, okay? And, you know, what's the next thing? What if WWE wants you gone but they can't get rid of you? Then they will essentially just make you...
You'll just flounder around.
You'll do nothing, right? Except for lose matches from time to time. Her in-ring ability is very, very good. And she spent basically a year doing nothing. And now she's in NXT being a heel. But she's done those rounds. She was called up to the main roster. She should still be on the main roster, but they should be doing something.
Yeah, it's kind of hurt her, the fact that sort of like it's like a there and back again sort of thing.
Yeah, it's like one of the things I think a term that's been used recently by WWE is that they don't want to book backwards, even though they do that sometimes.
Yeah,
booking backwards is sending her back down to NXT, right? Because she's now got the air. Now, if they've got a long-term story of they're going to change or she's going to finally come back with this new heel persona, everything will work out. I just don't think WWE has any plans like that. I just think that, we don't really want to deal with her in the main roster. Just send her back down to NXT. She can do some shit down there. That's fine. So, yeah, Emma, if she gets released, and she probably will, to be honest, I think she's on the chopping block. Yeah, let's just be right about it. If WWE can get rid of her soon, they'll be happy about it, right? Yeah, I think that would be a massive mistake. I think Emma is one of the best performers that they have, in-ring performers that they have. So, and it would be a shame. But that's the thing. Do you have anyone else? Any underused divas that you think could top her? There is a few underused divas on the roster.
There is a few, but I can't. Underused divas on the roster. Well, if you currently look at it, there's a lot, considering you've only really... Who's getting showcased? The Bellas and Naomi. And now Tamina, because she's back from injury.
Which is
but it's
great.
just like, oh, look, Summer? Summer's really good.
Oh, Summer Rae is who Kane said. Sorry, I do remember now. Yes, because Summer Rae was the one, which is can be said as well because she.
And I kind of agree with him. Like she's been like Emma's been backwards booked, but at least she's getting TV.
Yeah, I mean,
even if it is NXT, it's still TV.
We look at it like Summer Rae. She'll probably end up coming out with like The Miz again, because she left with The Miz to do that movie, and then they did that thing where she betrayed Miz down, if you remember. So maybe it could be along those lines. But Miz left because he was filming a movie. Summer Rae didn't leave because of that. As you say,
why Paige is gone.
That's why Paige is gone. Yeah. So Summer Rae is along those lines. But the thing is with Summer Rae, while she is good, I always get the feeling that as a person, she is happy in the role that she's in, right? She's a lot more talented than she lets on, but I do get the feeling that instead of I guess all of them are happy, even Paige is happy to be in the role she's in, but that she'd be much happier not much happier, but she would be happier if she could go out and have a kick-ass 15-minute match each week, right? Whereas I don't think Summer Rae doesn't really, I don't know, it's down to personal preference. I just think that she's more happy being a diva than she is a wrestler sometimes, even though she's got that talent, so that's the bottom line of it here. Which, I think when you have to think underutilized, probably Summer Rae and Emma, they're pretty close together. I would go with Emma, because I just think, I personally think Emma is far better than Summer Rae is. And it's just a shame that she got no opportunity there because of one mistake, but there you go. It's WWE. One mistake. Man, you can make lesser mistakes than she made and get dicked on just as much. So, that's along those lines. Subscriber 241 asks what we would like to see from WWE in the next few months. This was quite a vague question. I didn't really know how to answer this.
I did actually see this one. Yeah. So I'd like to see wrestling.
I put it as what we'd like to see improved. That's kind of what I said here. So that's what I kind of went with. I've made short-term and long-term goals that I would like to see from WWE achieve. So what will happen in the next 6 months and what will happen from 6 months to 5 years, right? What would I like to see from WWE in the next few months? So short term, just make things more exciting. At the moment, it seems to me as if they're just going through the paces until they can get to SummerSlam.
Yeah.
WWE as a company shouldn't be happy with going through the paces. They should be trying to give us more exhilarating television. And oversaturating it doesn't make that any better, right? So that's what I'd like them to do. I'd like them to get a kick up the arse, basically, and not just be... The best way for that to happen is then to get competition, and they're not getting competition. So that's the part of the, Why do you think the Monday Night Wars were so awesome to be around? It's because both companies were trying to outdo each other each week.
Because the moment something slipped, that was it.
WWE barely tries to outdo itself, let alone another company, right? So that's the thing of it. Long term, I know this isn't what the question is, but I've added this in anyway. I would like to see a philosophical change away from what Vince wants it to be, right? And this will never happen. This is what I would like to see. I would like to see the move away from being what I like to call, what Vince wants to make it into, a variety show, right? He wants it to have action, comedy, laughs, crying, storylines, and he wants it to have all, right? He wants to appeal to everyone, which, that's part of the reason why WWE sucks at the moment, right? But it won't happen, right? They're going to make it into a variety show. They want to have a little bit of comedy here. They want to have a little bit of action here. They want to do, some romance maybe between two characters here, and storylines and talking. And I would like a philosophical change, and I'd like it to go into what I would like to see from WWE. My perfect WWE at the moment would to make it seem more of a competition, right?
Yeah.
To make the wrestlers, maybe don't call them sports entertainers, but call them competitors, right?
Yeah.
Rather than trying to entertain, they're trying to compete against each other, right? And the entertaining comes, from that.
I mean, that's
right?
that's like the biggest difference, because I've been listening to a lot of JL podcasts, and like I've been going back through some of the older ones. So you've got sort of like Leon White, so we've got Big Van Vader, and we've got Terry Funk. Now they're the two that I've listened to recently, both big guys in Japan.
Yes, yeah.
Where in Japan it's legit.
Yeah. That you're treated
it's treated like they are genuinely going out to do battle.
Yeah.
Where in the US it's just sort of like, yeah, but they'll just hug it out or whatever. But it's like in Japan, it's like, yeah, they're going at it.
Yeah.
Because it's going for a reason.
The best way that maybe I could probably explain it in layman's terms, right? Vince wants it to be sports entertainment, right? That's his big say. I want him to lean more towards sports than he does entertainment, right? Because I'm a big fan of sports anyway, but if they were to treat it more like that, then, any sports fan knows that there's big drama to be had just from the sports aspect, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to have John Cena winning all the time, right? And to lose because he got screwed out. In sports, sometimes the big teams lose against the underdogs, and everyone loves that. But it's not bad. It is bad on the big teams that didn't win, but it's like they will win again next week, right? So it wouldn't be bad for 1 week for John Cena to lose against what you would deem a mid-carder, right? Because, okay, he's had a bad week. Sometimes the best wrestlers can have bad weeks, yeah? That's sports for you. But because he leans more on entertainment, then he's more like... John Cena can't lose unless he's screwed out of a match, right? So it makes the guy seem like he's just unrealistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the way I'd like to see the filler.
I mean, if anything, it's sort of like the whole John Cena sucks chant whenever he comes out, especially recently. There's been a few cities. Not that we were in one of these chants, but
you'd never hear us chanting that, would you? No, of course not.
It's not the fact that we like. I have respect for John Cena.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we get the whole John Cena sucks chant isn't the fact that it's against the guy. It's just against the way. It's just sort of like he has become the unbeatable.
Yeah, and the way that, they've got a little bit less doing it now. It's the way that WWE like to always portray him as the underdog, even though he wins all the time, right? That's the bottom line of it.
It's like the underdog. He was the underdog 12 years ago.
Yeah.
But now, no, he is Cena. He is top dog.
He hasn't been an underdog, arguably, for, so you say he's been around for 12 years. He hasn't been an underdog for, maybe he probably was an underdog. You could probably maybe book him as an underdog for 3 years since his debut, because he got fast-tracked to the belt pretty quick. And then since then, he's not really the underdog, right? Because he's the champion, right? The champ is here. You're not the underdog. You are the champ, right? So that it kind of changes the way things go from there. I think, and like I said, we're going on a wild tangent here, but it is episode 75, so you can expect that. Most people chant him is because the character, no one can relate with John Cena as a character, right? No one can, right?
No.
Because he's unrealistic. He doesn't really, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
And I know it's the same. People must say, well, everyone loved Hulk Hogan. That's irrelevant. John Cena 30 years ago would be treated just the same as Hogan was, right? He would be loved and adored. The fans now have evolved. They require more from the characters that they are invested in, rather than things that worked 30 years ago. So that's the bottom line of it. Moving on anyway, because you spent ages on that question. Niraj T, which I think is the first week this guy's asked a question. So, there we are. Awesome. He asks us, what do we think the main event of WrestleMania 32 will be? Now, it's quite early to tell. My thing I said earlier on is maybe Brock versus Rock. The reason why I think that probably won't happen is because I just don't think Rock wants to get in the ring with Brock Lesnar, personally, and take that many German suplexes. It's the bottom line.
If Rock versus Brock happens, I don't think it will be main event.
It won't be a title. It won't be a title match.
It's similar to Rock and Hogan. That wasn't main
event. Yeah. It would be a main event, but it won't close the show. Yeah. So, I think there is a good chance of maybe having the match to close the show next year will be a showcase of the Shield. It will be a three-way title match between the three of them, and that would be quite a cushy role to be in. And you look at that role. I mean, if Rollins walks in as champion, or maybe Reigns, I do think Reigns will win it this year. Maybe he goes to WrestleMania as champion. Maybe Rollins wins the Royal Rumble, and then Ambrose does something to get involved. Then I do think that WrestleMania 32 is a great place to have Ambrose walk out champion. So, you know, because Rollins has had his big moment, Reigns will have his moment this year. That WrestleMania crowd are never going to be on Reigns' side, ever, unless he turns heel, right? Yeah. So, yeah, have Ambrose do it. I think Ambrose is more than capable of being champion for a couple of months at least. So, yeah, maybe that.
He's got a run in him.
Yeah, I do think that is a big opportunity of having a Shield triple threat match next year. So we'll see how that goes. Cameron James asks, who do we think will win the Royal Rumble? That kind of goes into the question we were answering before. And what surprises were we like to see? Earlier on I did say that, you know, if it is going to be a Shield event, so you probably got... I do think Reigns will win the belt before then, so maybe Rollins or Ambrose will win the Royal Rumble. I can't see many other people in the calling for that.
Yeah.
Surprise returns, considering he's out of contract now, if he's good to go for at least a small spot, I'd like to see Taz maybe go in for a little while. I think that might be quite cool.
Yeah, Bubba. So maybe Devon.
Yeah, Devon. I think Devon. Maybe it'd be cool actually if you have Devon come out and no one expects Bubba because he came out last time, but he comes out again, and then you've got the moment where they get the tables. Maybe someone gets eliminated by going through a table. It's just a spot that kind of writes itself, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Right? I know he's got a problem with concussions, so that maybe might rule him out. But if he is capable of going, maybe Christian.
Yeah.
You know, along those lines, just have a small bit coming here and there. So yeah, that's probably my three picks. I'd say there. Yeah, I think that'd be fine. I think if you have Taz come out, even if, like I said, he doesn't have to do that much, right? You can just maybe throw
a couple of suplexes around.
Yeah, you can do it on Heath Slater.
Oh,
right?
You could just but just imagine you could have like Taz on one half of the ring, you could have Cesaro on the other half of the ring, and they're basically trying to out suplex each other.
Yeah, and you can give Cesaro all the hard guys to suplex, and you give. You're not going to have Taz go in there and suplex Big E. That just doesn't work. You're going to give him like the Heath Slaters, right, and all those other people that can do all the work for him. But I think that would be pretty cool to have Taz back for a day. You know, maybe Tommy Dreamer might come in. But the thing is, he is involved more.
Jesus Christ, are we talking about a WWE like a Royal Rumble in Philly?
Yeah, well, that would be cool to have
okay.
all these.
Sandman.
Yeah. I mean, Dreamer, maybe. I don't know. He does. Sometimes he's on the fringes of working with TNA, but I don't think WWE cares so much with one appearance if he hasn't worked with TNA in the months leading into that. So there's a few there. I would like to see maybe just once in regards to maybe doesn't even do that much because I know he probably can't do anything now at his age. But a part of me, just like a little kid, just wants to see like the comic moment of Ron Simmons damning someone out of the ring.
What, just like square in their face?
Yeah, just someone gets so scared. You know, you get one of their crappy characters. You know, it's just like, what's Ron Simmons going to do to me? He just looks at him and goes, "Damn!" and the guy just falls backwards over the road. Maybe someone like Curtis Axel or something like that does it. Or something along those lines, so.
The power of the dam.
The power of the dam. It makes me laugh.
Roll down.
Yeah, exactly. So you get it. Yeah. But as I said, in terms of winning, probably I don't think it would be Reigns. He already won. Probably Rollins or Ambrose, I'd say. Caleb Dirkworth asks, where are the Lucha Dragons nowadays? Not in the ring, which I would state is a fucking crime. So, that's my answer to that. Kieran Walsh.
All the way to a number one contendership match, and guess what? They're gone.
Yeah, that's it. It's a real shame as well. I think they should be wrestling each week because Kalisto was hot. Right, and he could take a couple of weeks. It's not the end of the world, but I just think you capitalise while the guy is really getting over. So that's just what I'd say. Imagine him, the Lucha Dragons, in an Elimination tag team match. Woo! Can you imagine the sort of shit Kalisto could do in there, man? Yes, sign me up for that. Kieran Walsh asks, how and when Lesnar will come back? I will tell you exactly how he'll come back. The month before SummerSlam, where he will demand a title rematch against Seth Rollins, and which he'll get, and the Authority will screw him out of that match at SummerSlam.
Yep.
That's everything that will happen with Lesnar. So that's the questions for the week. Some awesome questions there. Some humdingers, as I like to call them, of questions. If you do like to ask any questions, then you can leave them in the comment section below, or you can send them on Twitter at TalkWrestlePod. And like I said, I know I skipped maybe one or two this week. They just came a little bit late. I'll try and add them in next week, or just ask them again this week, just to double remind me. NXT report card. Have you got your professor's cap on, Matt?
Let me fetch the pipe.
Oh, the pipe. I can hear you going for the pipe. That's what makes it so great. I love that. I love that you go for the pipe. Do you have any tobacco for the pipe yet?
I don't.
Oh, you have to.
Well, I have, but it's not ready.
Oh yeah, you can't use it in the house, and I understand that. So. Oh, I can hear you. That's amazing. That's awesome. Okay, we only have 2 this week, and we will be making it just 2 going forward because we want to do 3 just to get these segment in. But if we do 3 each week, NXT doesn't have that much of a roster, so we're going to burn out pretty quick. Even though we will redo people because by the time we've done quite a few episodes, we can go back and revisit what someone's done since then. Our 2 this week are Alexa Bliss and Solomon Crow. Interesting characters. And just to remind everyone as well, 2 things from NXT. NXT the special is next week. So we will be reviewing a few people from that event because me and Matt will be watching it, and obviously we do the podcast at the weekend next weekend. And also, in terms of injuries, Sami Zayn seems to be telling everyone that he's good to go. So that at very least means that he will wrestle Kevin Owens at NXT Unstoppable. Now, maybe that's a case that maybe he went to the MRI, doctors told him you're injured, but you're not that injured that you don't have to come in yet.
It's only a little thing.
Yeah, so maybe he does need work on it, but he can work a match until he can go in and get it done. Maybe that's it. Or maybe he's not injured. That would be the great way to go around. Maybe he just tweaked it, felt a bit wrong on the night, because the adrenaline, maybe he just didn't feel right. But it's after a couple of days, things turned out to be okay. The thing that's weird about this, right, is that we've heard no news about the injury since it happened. None.
Yeah. It's odd.
So it is quite odd in that sense, but he was
I
on
find similar things. They keep saying that the triple threat for the number 1 contender's going ahead. So really? But what's with this whole?
I know, but it was
6 to 8 months for Itami.
Yeah, but that was confirmed. As far as I know, he is out. So I think that there will be probably changed to a singles match at the last moment. So, but we'll see how it goes from there. As far as I know, in terms of the time frame from the last episode that showed up, is that I think that Itami. The Itami news broke after that match he had. I'm not sure, but from very credible sources, the guy is out, right? So who knows? Maybe he's the same thing. Maybe he can get through one match. He'll lose the match, then go for surgery, which will keep him out for that length of time. Maybe, but I mean the source was very credible. So that's the thing. PW Inside are very on the ball.
Good on it.
Yeah. So let's talk about Alexa Bliss. With her glitter and sparkle. Let's see if her career's got glitter and
Your
sparkle.
favourite blue tip blonde.
Yeah, well, you can say that as if there's many blue tip blondes in WWE. Yeah? Is she not your... Do you have someone else that's better at being a blue tipped blonde than her? No, exactly.
So therefore she's my favourite.
Yeah, exactly. She's your favourite, that's it. But is she any good? That's the question that we're going to ask here today. Well... As a diva, you don't have to be that great in the ring to really get anywhere. People know that, right? Eva Marie and Cameron getting as lengthy careers as they've had already are a testament to you don't have to. Rosa Mendez, hello, right? Been in the company for God knows how many years. Doesn't still
crazy amount of years.
Still doesn't know how to bump properly, right? So, but anyway, what does she have? She is obviously a good-looking girl. That's the one thing any WWE diva has to have. She is a good-looking girl. Right, so that's good on her at least. And the whole, like I said, the blonde with the blue tips and stuff. She couldn't hardly go blonde with like pink tips because now that's all taken and everything like that. So, her in-ring work can be summed, I think, as being half decent. Right, capable, if not capable, but being, shall I say, not spectacular. Right,
it's like I've seen worse.
I've seen worse. But her in-ring work is serviceable, and that's it. It's not, oh my god, right, you've got to see her doing this match. It's not got to that point yet. I
can't even say that I've seen a solid promo out of her either.
Yes, that is a problem with her.
It's like there's been moments, like she's had backstage segments, and she's had sort of opportunities, but it's like,
Yeah. The thing I would say with her is that there is something just at the moment not quite clicking with her at the moment. That doesn't elevate her above where maybe she should be in terms of, how she should be driving towards. Because when you look at the pecking order of NXT divas, she isn't at the top 3. she's not close. I'd probably rank her about 5 or 6, right? Which is not good if you're her. Because you look at NXT Divas, top, you've got the champion, Alexa Bliss. Then you've got Charlotte. Then you've got...
Yeah?
What?
You just said the champion, Alexa Bliss.
Oh, sorry, I'm just thinking, sorry, champion, Sasha Banks. Charlotte, thank you for doing that, otherwise I would have got out. So, Sasha Banks, Charlotte, I'd probably put Bayley at 3, Becky Lynch at 4, then maybe Alexa Bliss. Maybe.
Would you put her above or below the black and pink abomination?
Oh, that, to me, she's the bottom. She's the bottom. She hasn't shown me that much, so. Apart from, masturbating her body, which she has toned down a little bit, but that 1 week.
The last time I saw it, Jesus, I'm still just like, if all it takes is black and pink, I can. If it just takes black and pink and to touch myself, I can be in NXT.
You could be the newest Diva, Matt. You could. All you have to do
has nothing on me.
Exactly, yeah. All you need to do, Matt, is just play with yourself. You'll be good. You'll be good.
Touch up,
that's it. And flex your muscles, of course. Every now and then you have to flex your muscles.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. So, Alexa... Shameless pay-per-view plot. Let's sidestep out of that. Yeah, so when you look at that, I mean, man, she's kind of far away from where she's going. And you think that she's a good-looking girl. She's got serviceable in-ring work. There's just something missing. And unfortunately, until she finds out what that is, she ain't going to elevate herself above where she is at the moment. And maybe she just needs a very hot rivalry or to be put in that situation.
Yeah.
Because some people could argue and say, you've got Becky Lynch over Alexa Bliss. I think Becky Lynch has shown me a little bit more recently. And maybe due to the program she's in, I'm willing to admit that. But
that's it. I mean, she's just been in singles. I think a lot of it is... she was in NXT, then she left for a while because she had like a nose injury or something.
Yeah.
And then she came back.
Yeah.
To do what?
Well,
Nothing, really.
Well, she did actually have a title match, but it was always one of those things that it was a filler match. It was like she was treated kind of like Alex Riley was for Kevin Owens. Like she was a contender, but she wasn't really a contender, right? She was obviously going to get beaten. So that you can look in along those lines. So, what is the grade for someone like this? It's very odd to me because when you look at NXT women's competitors, as I like to call them, because they haven't got the Divas marker down there, is that, like I said, she's a good-looking girl with serviceable ring work. So some of what she's got is okay. It's just she's just nowhere close. Like, if you're going to call someone up, she is not close to being called up. So where does she rank on that? For me, it's a C+. Yeah. Right? I think there's a lot of room for improvement.
I've been racking my brains about it as well, and yeah, I could agree with a C.
And she has to add something a little bit more to her gimmick than currently that is she likes to blow fucking sparkles everywhere when she comes out, right? I think the entrance music is fine. It's kind of annoying because it gets stuck in my head, as Matt knows. But yeah, are you going with the same grade or?
Yeah. I haven't got much of a change.
Is that the first? Oh no, we agreed with Kevin Owens as being the star. Okay, fair enough.
However, I now have Dana Brooks music stuck in my head. I've just.
Oh, I can't remember that, so that's fine for now then. Except for her rubbing herself, So it's wrong.
I'm not your enemy, Tony. Just so you know.
Oh God. Solomon Crow.
My biceps.
Anyway, Solomon Crow. Now, I'm saying now on record, and you can put me on the record for this. Put it as a soundbite if you like. This gimmick will not work. Outright. It will not work. And it's not so much, Solomon Crow can't pull it off. WWE can't pull off this gimmick. I'm telling you now. They can't pull it off, right? He's supposed to be the hacker gimmick that can mess up with all the stuff whenever he wants. Okay. But I don't think WWE have the creativity to be able to do anything really good with that. That's just the thing, isn't it? They're not going to do like comedy segments where Crow is like hacked into security cameras of someone or something like that. In these weird situations.
I think it's a gimmick that could have worked like a few years back.
Maybe.
Maybe along with do you remember DX dicking around in the production truck?
Sort of that.
Like you have that sort of thing. I think that would have worked to go with like a hacker gimmick.
Yeah, but
in a time where I think it's outdated. I think the worry of hackers and all this lot, it's outdated.
The one thing that I think, even with that gimmick, right? Because Solomon Crow could probably make it work. Is I just think that WWE just doesn't have enough inventive ideas. That's all. That's all irrelevant, though, right? And here's the big kicker to this, Matt, because you would agree with me. This, when Vince looks at Solomon Crow, do you think he's going to think that guy is any good, right? And the answer to that is no. Vince won't like the look of Solomon Crow. He won't like it at all. Right? He's going to look at take one look at him and be like, okay, well, we could use you in a very limited capacity, but he's never going to be like champion. He's never going to be, used as he should do. And the one thing I would say is that I know the guy is actually quite good, but of what I've seen of him, hasn't been that impressive. I have to admit, right? I know he's got like a history of actually doing some good work, before WWE and along those lines. But what I've seen of him in NXT hasn't been impressive, right?
Yeah, that's true.
His finisher outright fucking sucks. Was it. He leans back on the ropes and then he headbutts the guy. That doesn't look very good at all. That needs to stop now. And he's not physically imposing, so you can't put that on him as well. Someone like Baron Corbin doesn't have to be very good, but he's physically imposing, so that works for him. He's not like someone like... When you would stack someone like Solomon Crow against Uhaa Nation has all the tools and the look and the build.
Yeah.
Solomon Crow doesn't, so he has to get the perfect gimmick and the in-ring ability and the personality. So far, I haven't seen any of that from him so far. So... It's pretty damning, right? I think I've actually been quite generous when I give him this mark, because I haven't seen that much from him yet, and mostly it is because of...
I can't understand how he's so over.
It's NXT anyway. Blue Pants can get over in NXT, so it's not...
Blue Pants, I like Blue Pants.
Yeah, I like Blue Pants as well,
but I don't know whether it's because he has like an online following that I've just not been...
Not privy
to, or what, but it's just sort of been... I don't know, he came in, like suddenly everyone's going mental for him. But I was just sort of like, I don't care.
Like,
I haven't been sold on his gimmick, I just haven't been sold on him at all.
No, I haven't seen anything from him at the moment that makes me think I want to see more Solomon Crow. That's a bad thing, right? My grade for him, and like I said, I think this is generous. I think you might have graded him a lot lower than I did. I put him as a C because I see potential, but just not what he's doing at the moment, right? I think that something needs to change now. And like I said, maybe he is capable of pulling off this gimmick. I just don't think WWE is. I don't think WWE have given the tools to pull off this gimmick. So I've given him a C, which is one below what I gave Alexa Bliss. What did you give him? I
will go for a D+.
Well, yeah, I thought you would probably give him something close to a D. Yeah. I can't argue with you.
I think he needs a repackage.
Yeah, I'm. Some people might say, he's got to give him time with this gimmick. He hasn't had that long with it. But when I saw this, I just like, WWE just doesn't know how to make the most of this.
Well, the one thing is sort of like with a lot of the NXT guys, it's clear what their gimmick is.
Yeah.
Like with Corbin, he is clearly like, a Sons of Anarchy knockoff.
Yeah.
But it's like, he makes the screens go a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Oh, that's different.
But like one of the things you could do, there's a lot of more comedic stuff that you can end up doing them as a hacker. Maybe he hacks into Triple H's phone that calls up like a sex hotline or something like this, and then gets him in trouble with Steph because then she looks at the bills. There's some stuff that you could do with this that you could end up messing with people. But I just don't think WWE have that creativity each week to do something.
It's not even the creativity. I think we're in the wrong era for prank calling sex lines.
Yeah. You are quite right, to be honest. Yeah. So. Yeah. And like I said, I think the biggest condemnation is there's nothing about him that I want to see more of. I think that's the biggest damning thing. So that's our NXT report card on Solomon Crow and Alexa Bliss. I think a lot of people may be shocked that we rated Alexa Bliss higher at the moment, but I do think that WWE has more of an idea of what to do with her than they do at the moment with Crow. That's just the bottom line of it there. So.
I'm pretty sure WWE can come up with a better idea. What do we do with Pretty Blonde?
Yeah, make her into a glorified model, which is essentially what they do with all the divas, but no. Moving on from that, bottle of worms, which we've opened up time and time again on this podcast. Raw review. And you may be thinking, wow, Payback came quickly. Yeah, and you're going to get another 2 pay-per-views just as quickly. So, that's the way it goes. We both finished Raw today. I watched mine in 2 bits, so it's firmly in my mind what's happened. So here's the one thing with that's a little bit thing, and what a lot of people haven't taken into account, right? Is that with Payback being today and NXT Unstoppable being next week, I think this is the first NXT event that's taken place after a pay-per-view in a long time. So this is the main roster's time to set the bar for the NXT guys, rather the other way around, right? Because NXT's always they've always really outperformed, and then when it comes to the WWE pay-per-view, it's like, that wasn't nearly as good, right?
Yeah.
This could be their moment to show up the NXT guys. They should be looking at it in that way. We could show up the NXT guys. We are the main roster, and that's exactly what I want to see. At very least,
why are we the main roster? Well, let's prove why.
Yeah, this is why we're the main roster. So hopefully they can take the most of that going forward. This show emanated from Cincinnati, Ohio. The show kicked off with Triple H. He gets the old Vince McMahon backstage limo entrance. Remember, there used to be a time where Vince would always arrive backstage in a limo.
The boss is here.
That's it. Business is about to pick up and stuff like that, all when he comes out, he says that Daddy's home. And when he says that to his kids, they tend to behave better. And I know that's the same thing with me, to be honest, Trips. I understand. I have a similar effect. He wants the effect to happen with his squabbling authority members. He wants to end, essentially, the very long, elongated...
being bitches about this.
Yeah, they're bitching against each other, Rollins and Kane. Who just can't just fuck and get it over with. That's what I would say what they need to do. Rollins comes out.
Alright, it's all down to sexual tension now.
Yeah. Can you not see it between them? They obviously just want to have one big bang session, with the devil's favourite demon, and... They'll be happy, Rollins and Kane. They'll be happy. Hell, maybe even Rollins will put the mask on. Who knows? 50 Shades of Red. Big red machine. God. There's so much shameless pay-per-view plot on this episode, guys. I apologise.
Stop this now.
Rollins comes out. He's happier to see Triple H than even Triple H's kids do when he comes home. So the crowd interrupts him talking to Triple H. Rollins takes exception to anyone interfering with a conversation with his boss and him. He doesn't like it. And I can only imagine, Matt, with some of your people working in your store, speaking to you in a similar situation, with me critiquing their every word, so they're having an interview or something along those lines.
I can understand how it'd be annoying.
I'd be like, I like the way you said that, but the way that you came over to me just didn't seem, like, where are you going with this? Where are you going to speak?
I can't buy it.
Yeah, exactly. You got people just shouting you fucked up at him and everything. I can understand Rollins, having a chat with his boss. So I'm sure there's like a Saturday Night Live skit that could be made with that or anything along those lines. Rollins then narrates everything we've seen over the last couple of weeks, because WWE aren't confident enough of their product that we would have seen that over the last couple of weeks, which we do.
Forgot about it.
Rollins says it's time to take the old dog out the back and put him out of his misery. So Kane is essentially WWE's old Yeller.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very sad. Very sad. I'm very shocked as well to see that no one in the internet made like a reference of just putting Kane's head over Yeller and just all the birds.
I missed it, didn't they?
Oh well. Internet, I am ashamed. But still. This brings out said old Yeller, corporate Kane, who instantly comes out and the first thing he says, I want to chokeslam Seth Rollins. Essentially what he says. Triple H says, well, Kane better get on the same page as Rollins, because if Rollins doesn't retain the belt at Payback, Kane will be fired. And this is a big thing, Matt. Oh, my goodness, Kane can't get fired.
This is the one thing they never said fired.
Well,
it was just like he would no longer be director of operations. That doesn't mean Kane's not going to then be free to be Kane and tear the shit out of everything.
Well, the one thing I picked up on this is just a couple of weeks ago, Kane seems very happy to give in his 2 weeks' notice. Do you remember that? So
that's true.
Apparently
now he's crying, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Kane does come back and kind of fix that statement by stating it may be worth just to get released after, just getting his hands on Rollins and everything like that, which I'd argue he's kind of already done that by chokeslamming him over the last couple of weeks, but still. Triple H then says, well, I'm going to set up a few matches. I'm going to do Kane versus Reigns, Orton against Rollins. And Jamie Noble apparently thinks that he's a big deal. Big fucking deal, Jamie. That should be his new name. Big fucking deal, Jamie Noble. That's what he should be. I think that's quite a good tagline from him. He takes offence to Triple H's words and says that Seth Rollins is the man around here. This gets him put into a handicap match with hometown hero Dean Ambrose.
And if you'd even forgotten that he was from Cincinnati, guess what? Their crowd's not going to let you forget.
Yeah, exactly. Ambrose was essentially got given the Daniel Bryan treatment over the course of this show, as in they kept chanting for him, and every time he was out, they fucking loved it. So it was cool to see Ambrose in that situation.
What do you want to do? We're fine with that.
Yeah, especially you got to think this is his first title chance, right? His first title opportunity, so that's kind of cool. That the 1 week he's not going to win, but the week leading into, sorry, Cincinnati fans, but you know the week leading into it, he comes off looking like a Mac Daddy. You know, it looks like like a big deal. So the authority politics here, essentially what we got at the start of the show, and unfortunately they quite bore me, right? So. Unfortunately, I can't be bothered with the authority kind of politicking and the whole narrating everything that's happened the last couple of weeks, which they do each week. That to me is boring to me. So, just over 15 minutes this opening segment, and I was a little bit like, man, it set up the skeleton of the show at least, so at least it stands up on that. I just wasn't that excited about it.
Especially when there was just like, and there's going to be some matches and some stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, cool. That's what I come to expect.
You look at it, right, and the way it looks, like Triple H is like, oh, I've been busy doing other things. And it's like, they want to treat Raw as being like the must-see show that it is. And it's like their own, you know, owners of the show or owners of what
Their own COO is just like, yeah, I was off doing other, like, I got better things
I've got better things to do than watch Raw. And most of the times, most weeks, I think to myself, I have better things to do than some of the crap that you're showing to us. But that's what I like there. A drink for the working man, because my throat's getting sore. This episode of LTW is brought to you by Pepsi. So, yeah. It's not. We're not hired. That's just free publicity. And they should be fucking happy about we giving them that as well. Moving on. Dean Ambrose, then, obviously fights Noble and Mercury. And bless Ambrose here. He just looks like he's a kid on Christmas Day. Right? He's been given 2 toys to beat up for a little while. It's awesome. It's awesome.
That's it.
Good fun. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It almost brings a tear to my eye. Tear to my eyes. Just have to just wipe away. It's just beautiful. J&J Security do get a bit of offense here before Ambrose says, well, fuck this. I'm just going to dirty deed you on Noble. Noble sells the dirty deeds like a fucking boss. I don't think anyone sold that move better than Noble did. He just fucking rigor mortis and fell to the floor sort of thing.
Straight up, just nope.
Yeah. And yeah, it was early squashing to get the fans going. Fair enough, I'm okay with that. Obviously, it was never meant to be a great match. It was just a showcase for Ambrose, and that's okay. Got the fans up for the rest of the show. I've got no problem with that. Dolph Ziggler versus King Barrett. And yes, a part of me does hurt whenever I say the words King Barrett.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it wasn't just a one-week
part of me
thing.
just hurts whenever I just see the purple turn up on the Titantron. Just the fact that they actually did it.
And the fact that on the Titantron now it does say King
Barrett.
So, there we are.
And he gets his own handle when his name comes up as well.
In the intro, I should have put the thing of me saying, don't turn it into a gimmick. And then, like, someone going, and coming down to the ring, King Barrett, and then just a laugh track. I think that's comedy there, you know? Everyone must have known that as soon as, like, he came out with that last week. All of our fans must have been knowing, oh, look, Tony's banging his head against the table right now, and you all would have been right.
Yep.
And guess what? Matt was doing the same fucking thing.
Yep.
So, Sheamus is on commentary in a suit, which I'd state doesn't kind of go with his Irish barbarian thing that he's kind of going for now. But I guess he's not really going for that, but his look is. So he's kind of looks even more stupid now than he
Yeah, especially when it's like, when he takes the hat off and it's like his mohawk's like smooth against his head. It's like,
slicked back.
Worse.
Yeah, it looks really off, yeah. Barrett, when he comes out, is now cutting King-themed promos. So the stuff like hear ye and hear ye and dirty peasants, all this, yeah, it's still there. And it does make me hurt inside. He says he's going to make Ziggler the royal ass kisser. So, yeah, I don't think there was any roles for an ass kisser back in those times, but who knows? Who knows? Not a long match here. Sheamus distracts Ziggler. It's a shame because whenever you got Ziggler and Barrett in the ring, they have pulled off a great match before,
Oh yeah.
But, they've had a few matches since then and just haven't had the chance to pull off a similar match of that quality. Sheamus distracts Ziggler, leading to Barrett hitting the ball hammer. He gets the win. Afterwards, Sheamus beats Ziggler up for a little bit, uses the bro kick to lay him out. So this means that we have Barrett versus Neville and Sheamus versus Ziggler for the pay-per-view. Both rematches, and I would argue not pay-per-view worthy matches in terms of story build-up. They are 2 of 3 rematches at Payback. So make of that what you will. Everyone knows I'm not fans of constantly doing these rematches and stuff, but still. What do you think of Barrett Neville? Barrett Neville, I think I'm a little bit more excited for than I am Sheamus Ziggler.
Yeah, I'm more excited for that.
Yeah.
I think it's probably just because we're just like, yay, Neville.
At least the whole Neville thing hasn't stuck around at least. So
That's true.
I thought we might have ruined him there for us for a minute, but we haven't. So
Nah.
I will say though that Sheamus' entrance, I still have ruined that for myself. I do think that guy is just creaming his pants every time he comes out. It's just too good.
Fellow!
Yeah, that's what he's doing. So essentially, Eric Rowan versus Fandango is next. Last week I did state that pairing Rowan up with Bo Dallas would be good, but pairing up with Harper is just as fine. Don't have much of an issue with that.
Yep.
He is back up with Harper now. They're forming a tag team again. I would much rather Rowan be Harper's muscle, right? So Harper's still the singles guy, but he has Rowan in his corner, right, doing everything that he asks him to. But apparently they're going to be a tag team again, but I think a bit of a shame. I think Harper was doing fine. Well, he wasn't being spectacular, but maybe having...
Well, he was doing better than Rowan, so
yeah,
I guess... Help me, brother!
This is better for Rowan, far better for Rowan than it is for Harper, shall we say. You know, that's the bottom line of it. Rowan squishes Fandango, much like Big Show squished Rowan, pretty much all the last 6 months, you know, whenever they faced against each other. So, Rowan got a squash match. Wow. Pair up with Harper for 1 week and literally managed to squash someone. Like Miracle Grow. Which unfortunately only works on the bottom side of his face and not on his head. So
yeah.
John Cena is out for the Open Challenge. He cuts a promo before he does all of his Open Challenges. He says that the WWE Championship is tainted and protected, but the US title is a title of opportunity. Now, don't know about you, Matt. Considering Cena's had, what shall we say, a love affair with the WWE title, do you think the WWE title has a reason to be feeling utterly betrayed?
To be tainted.
Betrayed by its former lover, shall we say?
But John!
I'm sure the WWE title is like basically stating, go back to your whore. Fine.
Yeah.
That's what it's saying. You'll always come back to me eventually, Cena, you know? Was it 15-time champion? Yeah, we all know who you like more. Talk smack about me. If only the WWE title had a mouth and could speak. And
the stories it could tell.
It could probably say that I have to go on the trips now. Brock Lesnar had me for ages, and I barely had to do any traveling. All this sort of stuff, but still, there we go. Neville is the challenger this week for the belt, and one of the things I stated about Neville is that he's doing everything at the moment he needs to. He hasn't put a foot wrong. When you look at Mystico, who came in as Sin Cara, who's like another high flyer, not in the same breath, but you will get the analogy in a minute. I agree with the general consensus that Mystico himself fucked up. He botched too much, right?
Oh, yeah.
To a point that WWE couldn't trust him anymore, and he got a reputation then for botching.
Botch Cara!
Yeah, he's famous now, right? Neville, however, hasn't done a botch since he got in the company, right? Well, at the very least on the main roster, right? He's done everything he's needed to and more.
Yeah.
Okay. So if he fails, it is completely and utterly down to how WWE used him. Because one of the things that we said about Uhaa Nation is that you shouldn't give anyone reason to not want to get behind you, right? The management, right? Because you know one thing is it could be enough to stop you. Neville so far has done nothing to invoke that sort of response. So if he fails, it's totally on WWE's shoulders, totally 100%. So it's good for Neville at least. Just still, I know the reason I bring this up is because WWE could still do nothing with him. You know, right?
Yeah.
That's the reason I bring it up. Some people may ask me, why should Neville succeed? And I reply with middle rope Phoenix splash, bitch.
Yeah.
That's why Adrian Neville, well, or Neville now, should succeed. That's why he should succeed. Because anyone who can do that sort of shit deserves to be in the ring entertaining me each week. Definitely. Outright. So, there's that. This match is awesome. A great match. Again, from the Open Challenge. And one of the cool things I did like about it, which I thought for a very small moment, Cena's going to kick out of the Red Arrow. And no one at the moment should be kicking out of the Red Arrow. Don't care.
No,
right?
Exactly.
I think the Red Arrow needs to be treated as an ultimate move. As in, he does it, you don't fucking kick out, right?
I kind of have like one issue. Like, it's not necessarily with Neville. It's just the way that like Cole does it. It's all like whenever he goes to the top rope, Cole is always going, and he's going for the Red Arrow. He's gone to hit the Red Arrow when he's clearly just done a forward flip.
It's like
he's gone for the Red Arrow. No, he went for a moonsault.
Yeah,
so he could land on his feet. And
he's got his back to the opponent. Tell me, how is he supposed to do a Red Arrow from that position? Sort of thing. Yeah, I know what you mean. I guess that's one of the good things to state there. That I mean, everyone wants to see the Red Arrow being performed, so that's a good thing. You know. That's one of the things that's going to help Neville all the way through. So what actually happens here? He does hit the Red Arrow, but Rusev comes in, interferes. I did like that finish because, believe me, there would have been a rant on this show if Cena had kicked out of that Red Arrow. I would not have been happy at all.
Do you know one thing I actually really liked about the match, though, is it gave that opportunity to go, oh, he's the high flyer, he's the man gravity forgot. Yeah, everyone seems to forget. It's like, he's actually pretty tough as well. Yeah, and he can get physical.
People don't seem to realise that he deadlifts his German suplexes.
Yeah.
That's just bonkers, right there.
Well, like, you can kind of see that.
Yeah, but some people say, oh, he's doing a German suplex. Yeah, he's deadlifting the guys when he does it. It's amazing, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
You got to think that he's not going to be as strong as someone like Cesaro, but he could do some amazing feats in there that you just won't expect. So he is stacked, right? He's a strong guy. Rusev then, he obviously causes the DQ, which you think is a bit strange, you know, considering I think an argument could be stated Rusev just wants to beat Cena and no one else, so he never wanted Cena to lose anyway, right? So fair enough. He lays out Cena after the match and he stands tall after kicking him and then using the accolade. And my advice to Rusev is enjoy it because it won't be lasting that much longer. Yeah. You're going to lose your match. You're going to lose any chance of having that title. You're going to lose your women. You're going to lose your push. You're going to lose everything, and it's going to be a hard fucking 6 months for him. That's what I would state for Rusev, unfortunately. It is unfortunate because they've done a year of making this guy strong, and then literally being 4 matches with Cena has just fucking killed him, right? So, still, they can make me eat my words by booking him strong after this, but whether or not that'll happen,
that's it.
Like you come on, you and me don't believe you and me don't believe that's going to happen. So
not so much.
It's quite funny actually. One thing I will pick up on before we move away from this match, it's quite funny that the camera closed in on Cena, and this is after he's been putting the accolade, and commentators say Cena's out cold, he can't do anything, he's completely knocked out. Will this happen at the pay-per-view? And then he's got a close up of his face as he's talking to the referee.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a bit of a fail from Cena. It's not the camera crew that's a fail. If you're Cena and you're acting knocked out, you're knocked out. Okay, just don't fucking open up your eyes and start talking and act again. No, you're knocked out.
Or if you're Cole and you can clearly see that the guy is talking, don't say he's knocked out.
Yeah, just say, oh, he can't compete or he can't physically stand. You know, but yeah. Along those lines. I just thought it was quite funny in that sense. Because Cena is the biggest offender on that roster for as high on the roster he is for talking too loudly in his matches.
Yeah.
Right? Just outright. Botchamania do a segment every single time of Cena talks too much. Because he does. Every week talk too much. So,
oh yeah.
Kane versus Roman Reigns. Not a match. So yeah, that's essentially it. Roman Reigns comes down, Kane decides to attack him. Going into beast mode for a little while, just kind of unleashing the Super Saiyan inside, shall we say. just attacking.
Don't forget, he's a demon.
Yeah. For literally about 5 minutes, I was kind of reminded that he's still got a little bit of that, of the old Kane there, and then we kind of got reminded, no, he's not actually that guy. Reigns laid him out, speared him over the announce table, and that's what Kane gets for acting like a demon again. A quick spear and just fuck off. We'll be done with you. So. But one of the things I would say about Kane, do you still think they're building up towards Kane being something again? It always just seems to me that they're just like driving Kane and further in, and then maybe they'll just give up on the payout.
I don't know. I kind of want it.
Yeah, I mean, it would look really bad on him if just in the end he just accepts it.
Yeah, right? It just rolls over.
Very demasculating for the guy. Moving on. There was actually a lot of matches here, but back to back, and then not as many segments. I think the majority of them was left for later on in the show. Brie Bella versus Tamina. This is awesome to see Tamina back in the ring again. When we had talked about capable female wrestlers, I have to admit I had kind of forgotten about Tamina out of all this time.
Well, for how long had she been gone?
Yeah, very long.
Problem.
And it's not just one lengthy absence. It's been a couple. Yeah. She might come back for like a month or so here and there, and then she's gone again for another 8, 9, maybe 12 months. Right? It's not great for her.
It's just like every time WWE goes, we need a strong woman.
Yeah.
Someone call Tamina.
Yeah. I mean, she's got a dodgy knee, so I know that's part of the issue as well. But she could have been used way more than she has so far. Even as a bodyguard, you don't have to get that involved. She could still be there, but still.
Yeah.
One thing I would say in terms of this rivalry, when you look at all 4 women in the involved, you've got the Bellas, you've got Tamina, and you've got Naomi, is that they're all good in-ring talent. And I've enjoyed the lack of the likes of Cameron, Eva Marie, and Rosa Mendez over the last 6 months. You've not seen them as much, so.
Joe, the one problem is, like we were talking about this earlier, I've now realised that it's just like, I don't like watching Brie wrestle.
Yeah. It's she...
So,
I think it's common conception now that she's regressed a bit. She's lost a shit ton of matches. Matches. But that's the bottom line. She does lose this one as well. Tamina gets the super kick. It's this the match itself. Just talk about the match. I found it a bit sloppy in places, but I'm going to give Tamina the benefit of the doubt because let's face it, the girl's got ring rust, right?
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. There's very least some potential there in the future once she gets a little bit more warmed up, shall we say, and takes a couple of bumps, kind of gets used to everything back again, and gets back in the swing of things. And just when she gets back in the swing of things, more than likely she'll be removed and we won't see her again. That's it.
Yeah, and then that'll be that.
Yeah, that's it.
Again.
Yeah, going back to that thing I said anyway about like the lack of having like Cameron, Eva Marie, and Rosa Mendez. Is that like I think of that the whole like the hashtag give divas a chance. Maybe we should rename it to give the right divas a chance, which is what they've kind of at least done. They've not given us as much as the shit recently, so yeah, that is at least applaudable, along those lines. So
yeah.
Moving on to the next match, Curtis Axel against Macho Mandow. Yes. Now, here's my thing to this, Matt. This will give you food for thought. Are you ready for this statement?
Yep.
Now, people may like this Macho Mandow thing. I don't, to a degree. Okay, and I'll understand, and I'll explain why. But however, regardless of whether or not you like it, people have to agree with this statement. It's a kind of a fail from WWE when WWE couldn't give these guys good enough characters, so that they've now resorted to imitating to gimmicks that worked 20 years ago.
I can agree with that.
I don't know how anyone could disagree with it.
My other thing is, how is it that we had a guy who pretty much saved his career by imitating people on a weekly basis, imitating someone for a few months as a stunt double, finally breaks away from this and becomes his own man to be someone else again?
Yeah. Now, the argument is that maybe they just weren't going to use him unless he did do the Macho Mando stuff, and that is That is something that could be asked here. But however, when Sandow cut that promo a couple of weeks ago showing, I kind of made them, I kind of shoved this in their face that what they didn't want me to be entertaining enough. That's the Sandow I wanted, like a real Sandow. He's been playing someone else all this time. Be Sandow now. Be the one genuine guy on the roster, and I'd be happy with that, right? But as Matt has obviously stated, WWE are like, no, Curtis Axel's doing the Hogan thing, you're now going to do the Sandow thing, and then we're going to have you two kind of join forces. Yeah. That's where they're going to go. I think it's we can have the Mega Powers versus Legion of Doom. Yeah, right. The biggest indictment is the fact that WWE could not come up with a gimmick for both these guys that worked. So, or at least give them a chance to come up with something that they by themselves that could work. So they're now basically, as I said, they're rehashing gimmicks, other people's gimmicks from 20 years ago. Like, to me, there's something wrong with that, right? There's something not quite. Sorry, not even 30 years ago, right? Yeah. So, still, that's food for thought anyway. The match doesn't last long before the detention show up. Our fans have chosen. It is the detention, we shall call them. And says there is a new age in WWE. There's a new age, Matt. Are you ready? The new age of destruction in WWE. And do you know what that is? Would you like me to explain it to you?
Go on, then.
The new age of destruction is they will get destroyed by Mandow and Axel. So that's the new age of destruction. There you are. Axel and Sandow shake hands and form, wait for it, the Meta Powers. I'm going to just let that sink in a little bit. So.
Oh dear.
Now, I know some people are happy with this, and I'm all for you being fans of this. I think Matt's on the same board with me. I'm so much a fan.
Nope.
So, for the implications of it. It's not terribly horrible, and like I said, there is a case that could be made that they just weren't going to do anything with Sandow if you didn't do this. But it's just a little bit like, still. Let's try and enjoy it as best we can. Because it's probably going to get painful pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So, this leads to Daniel Bryan coming out. This is the vacation of the IC title segment that we spoke about earlier on. We'll speak about actually what happens in the segment. Obviously, we gave our thoughts about it earlier. He says that he's been in and out of doctor's appointments for the last few weeks. And he actually admits that Stephanie was actually right of stripping him for the WWE title last year, as the fans do deserve a fighting champion. And then he states the results from the MRI implies there is no time frame on his return, if he returns at all. And then he relinquishes the IC title, which means that Vacant claims another historic championship victory to add along his multitude of championship victories. Vacant is like Hall of Fame worthy. Over so many years has Vacant done this, right? No one thought that anyone would be able to beat Bryan for that belt. Vacant did. But Vacant is winning titles in different organizations, right? He's the only wrestler that can do that, right? Vacant is the man, right? So, still, that's the way it is. People obviously know we're joking around here, Anyone that's been around the net knows that the whole Vacant thing has become like a thing up on its own now, so... He's even got a Twitter. Does he? Oh my god, I need to look at that. WWE Vacant. I need that. I need to look at that. That's amazing. I didn't even know there's a Twitter account for it, so... We're going to have to do an NXT report card on Vacant, aren't we? I smell a future April Fool's. A star all the way. We're going to have to do like an April Fool's where we actually interview Vacant. Talking about his multiple championship victories. Oh, yeah. It sucks for Bryan, as we said earlier on. It must be frustrating, and like I said, I firmly believe the prime time of his career is now gone. So you can make that up as you will. But yeah, he was actually quite carp in this promo, and like I said, it did look like he was holding back, being more emotional than maybe he wanted to be. So it does suck for the guy. Moving forward, Big E versus Cesaro. Xavier Woods tells us right before this match, boom shakalaka, it's a new day. Yeah. And all I can think of is NBA Jam. He's on fire. So, I don't know if someone was playing NBA Jam, because I think actually Michael Cole did say he's on fire later on, or so. Or maybe it was Woods. Maybe he was playing NBA Jam. I have no clue.
It probably was Woods, yeah.
Maybe if he had said like your mummy's panties drawer, nothing but nylon, that may have got something along those lines. Has that got you thinking now? Yeah. Feel free to use that sentence whenever you like. You know.
No.
By the way, I fucking rock at NBA Jam. That's why I know all these things. I have to say, Matt knows this. And that's the '95 version and the remake that was made.
That's true.
Very recently. Getting into that, they verbally slammed Pete Rose. This may be a local thing. To be honest, I'm not a big baseball fan, so I think it's baseball that he played. I'm pretty sure it was.
I don't know.
But
another thing where the World Wrestling has gone to just local, sort of going for the local crowd.
Wrestling will always go for the local crowd, though. When it's just like one of the pillars of like heat, isn't it? Just attack for local guys. Hell, without that, Miz would never got anything done in this company. To be honest, that's like the main card he goes to. He looks up all the sports stuff of that town, just gets the worst thing that's happened to them, and then states it. So that's basically his only card. And they try and get the fans to chant "New Day rocks," but we know how that's gonna pan out. People would know that by now. Cesaro chooses to basically become a cruiserweight for the week. And you may be thinking, what? Well, he done a top rope crossbody, which you may be thinking, that isn't, well, it is cruiserweight stuff, but, most people can do that. Then he chose to do a springboard spinning elbow.
Yeah.
So, I guess Cesaro woke up that morning I'm going to be a cruiserweight today.
He woke up with a spring in his step.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, you could say that, yeah. I think you just took the award for worst joke of the show. So if that congratulations. Oh. Yeah, it just seemed like he was all over the ring. I thought he was trying to outdo, some of the cruiserweights there. So fair enough. A scuffle outside. Cesaro then rolls up Big E like a pretzel, basically like just roll over pin. Big E didn't even look like he knew where half his legs were, with all that going on. So.
This is weird.
Yeah. I thought until then it was a pretty good match, but it was always going to end. I thought honestly that the destruction would cause New Day to get the win, but then I realised it's a day before the pay-per-view match for the title, so yeah, the people who aren't winning are going to win this one. That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
Commentary then announced the return of the Elimination Chamber. We spoke about that earlier on. Primetime players are paying tribute to DX. They kind of imitate them a little bit, and I hope this is the end of their imitation segments, because I'm honest, and me and Matt are big PTP fans. These segments haven't been very good, so
no,
that's the bottom line of it. There, these guys are charismatic. It's just with the stuff that they're using, I just don't think it works that well. So that's the bottom line of it. There. I hope they can be used effectively, because, like I said, me and Matt, for some reason, we like the primetime players a lot. So
yeah.
That's the...
Can't explain it. Just accept it.
Sometimes you just like guys for being who they are. That's the way it is. Bray Wyatt comes out to the ring. He tells us that fear is all around us, and we can let it show. Yeah?
No.
We just say fear is all around us. I just thought maybe you could sing it.
But no.
Maybe if he did sing that, it would be quite scary, to be honest. Fear is all... maybe he gets Harper to sing it. That would be quite scary. Well, you've just got Roman looking at everyone with a sheep thing. It would be quite creepy to have that, to be honest. So. He says while Ryback has overcome the odds, he's not seen anyone like Bray Wyatt before, and I would argue with that, saying Ryback has seen plenty of people who've been underutilized.
Yeah.
So yeah.
He's looked in the mirror before.
Yeah, he's looked in the mirror before, yeah, exactly. Or people that's lost lots of pay-per-view matches. Yeah, Ryback's been there, mate. He knows that better than anyone. So, that's the way it is. Wyatt then says, he gives us the reason, Matt. He gives us the reason. One thing I've been asking for. The reason why he's been targeting Ryback. Why are they fighting? I've been saying it before. I've been blasting Rob Wyatt this month, stating why there's no reason why he's been. It's the same with Ambrose. He never gave us a proper reason. He gave us the golden reason. Are you ready for it, Matt? You know what it is. And you know the reason I'm building up.
He was in my way.
He was in my way. Well, first of all, I don't think he really was. There were literally no interactions between you two. So,
I think the next one is, that's all well and good, but where were you going?
yeah, where exactly were you go? Did you want to dominate the mid card? Okay, maybe you wanted to do that. Maybe he was in your way doing that. Maybe he was in your way at the snack bar. We know Ryback likes to eat a lot of food. Maybe some people will get pissed off at that. Maybe Wyatt did. He was looking for a hot dog. Ryback was in his way, and Wyatt thought, well, this is worth a month-long rivalry.
Yeah.
Maybe along those lines. That is, people must be known with the sarcastic nature of me stating this. That is a shit fucking reason why you start up a feud with someone, and I don't care what anyone says. I know feuds have been starting up for less, but with someone as eloquent as him and specifically targeting these particular people, just because he's in my way, or the other cop out is I don't have to. Oh, sorry, what was it? Just because I can. That's another cop out, or because there's just so many cop-out answers that WWE have. This is one of them.
We've been getting quite a few cop-out ones, because that's pretty much the whole reason why Sheamus is picking on Ziggler.
Yeah.
Because you're the little one.
Because you're the... Yeah. I know that WWE... I know wrestling in general isn't great for setting up reasons for rivalries. I think it's because I've just made a deal of it, you know, that he's... With Wyatt especially, he's so eloquent, right? He's supposed to be very methodical, and he picks his opponents for particular reasons. Yeah. And even with Undertaker, right, he was supposed to put the Undertaker down and essentially take his place, right? That was the whole deal with him there. So you can kind of get that a little bit, yeah? With Ryback, it's just like, you're in my way. So remember, anyone, if you're in anyone's way, maybe in a line to the bank, you may be involved in a month-long rivalry with them. So just be careful about getting in anyone's way, all right? Ryback comes out. There's a brawl between them, which Ryback wins. I actually thought the promo was very good. I just thought the stuff he was saying was a bit crap. So I thought him being in the ring doing a promo far better than him keep doing those on air, you know, on Titantron stuff. So
yeah, that's
it. And it is a shame, unfortunately, now that, I mean, I've said this a lot recently, that the character of Wyatt, his words have lost their meaning for me. So. Especially when he's saying here, oh, he's never seen anyone like me, I'm going to obliterate Ryback. Ryback comes in, just knocks him straight down and throws him out. So it's like, that's exactly, essentially, that is a very small example of everything that happened in the Undertaker rivalry between him. I'm going to destroy him. He's scared of me. I'm going to break his bones. I'm going to be the new face of fear. I got beaten by the Undertaker.
Yeah. So I don't know how you can still be the face of fear, but okay.
Yeah. I'm sure that if he loses a match for the WWE title and guarantees everyone's going to win for it, he's going to come out without the belt and say, "I am the new WWE champion." No, you lost, Wyatt. You can't call yourself that. Well, I am the new face. No, you lost. You can't call yourself that. I am. You know, just the way it is. Stop
saying things.
He's got a mental disease that he thinks he wins all these matches, but he's not. You know, in his mind, he beat Undertaker. You know, that's the way it is.
Like, I was there, and there was a pin, and there was a 3 count. I won.
I'm sure I Sister Abigail'd him at some point, so I must have won. So, yeah, there you go. Moving on from that. Randy Orton and Seth Rollins is the main event of the night. And I would probably put this down to being a boring main event. Would you probably say this is the same? It wasn't much better than the cage match they had at Extreme Rules. That's just the bottom line of it, unfortunately.
Like, I just didn't... I kind of hated when they were just like, oh, and it's going to be Orton and Rollins, like, because we haven't had that as a main event for a while.
Yeah, it's not even that. It's that the pace of the match was cruelly slow.
Yeah.
I know that Orton likes to go on a very slow, methodical pace, but normally that means that the match eventually leads to a crescendo. There was no crescendo to be had here. It was just slow. And
it just happened.
It picked up a little bit towards the end, but I mean, the match didn't itself go anywhere. It just ended in a DQ with J&J.
That's it. It picked up at the end. Oh, when the run-ins happened.
Yeah. So, Orton's laid out. Kane makes an appearance. He's kind of deciding what he wants to do when Reigns and Ambrose come in. They come for the save. They then beat up Rollins, give them the finisher each, essentially along those lines. And then Ambrose is the one standing tall at the end of the show. He uses the dirty deeds on Reigns after Reigns had speared Orton. So then Ambrose is, at his hometown, doesn't get dicked on. I think he's like one of the only people that doesn't get dicked on in his hometown recently. So good for him. And Kane did nothing. He just kind of watched it all with a chair in his hand. So obviously they're going to talk about that.
Just all like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, that's it. Overall, I thought it was an okay show, not as good as last week, because I think last week Yeah, last week was very good. I remember last week being very good. So, where you had the Rollins Ambrose match, which was phenomenal, and then you had the Zayn debut and all that lot. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
This one isn't as good, but it was still okay, worth a watch.
I'll tell you what, just to watch the Cena Neville match.
Cena Neville was very, very good. Yeah.
Easily the best match on Raw.
Easily match of the night. I think maybe
that's one thing. As much as we were like really dubious, like about this, like it's Cena, and as much as everyone knows, like, oh yeah, here we go, he's gonna call someone out, like someone's gonna accept the challenge, but they're gonna lose. But it's like even still, there's that. But this is really good.
Yeah. Like I said, I can probably poke holes in it, but I don't want to. I'm being entertained by each week. Some people could say that the open challenge is. Some people have called it the open burial. I've seen some pictures of it going. No, it's not a burial because even look at Neville this week. Technically, you could say he had Cena beaten, right? So
yeah,
you could look at it in that case. But
the one thing I like is the fact that you even had Neville kicking out of the AA.
Yeah, right. So even Zayn, like he got beaten, but he kicked out of the AA. The AA, I can't be double thing. I can't be like, I don't want people to kick out of their finishes, but everyone kicking out of the AA. Everyone kicking out of the AA isn't that great, but I know what you mean. But it's not like a burial. Like a burial, yeah. Remember when Wyatt went against Cena last year and got squashed? That is closer to a burial than these matches. They're heavily...
after Cena got beaten by Lesnar?
Yeah, and he literally just destroyed Wyatt.
That burial.
Yeah. And me and Matt were like, what? What the fuck are you doing? Like, it's horrible what's going on right now. Because, like, literally Wyatt was being made to seem like he had absolutely zero chance of winning that match. He was just getting destroyed by Cena. Because Cena had turned a corner. He unleashed this new Cena. Remember the new Cenas that pop up every now and then. And that is a burial, right? And a burial is very hard to do in a week as well. So that Wyatt thing isn't so much a burial, just close to it. A burial is like Zack Ryder got buried over a series of weeks, right? When he had when he got himself over. That was a burial because they buried him to the point that he had no push anymore, right? Yeah. A burial doesn't happen. You can't have a burial in a match that's hotly contested. You know?
Yeah, it's actually like to be buried. That means you no longer have any momentum.
Yeah, that means they literally. The word buried means that your career is dead, right? Sorry, but I think Neville's doing fine, right? I think Sami Zayn's doing fine. Stardust had a good match against Cena. He's doing fine, right? They're all kind of better off from it. Yeah. Now, if he was going out each week squashing guys the way Wyatt was, me and Matt would be fucking slating it each week and we'd be saying not another of these open challenges. But he's not. He's having, so as I said, the Cena challenge has had in the majority the best matches of the week each week.
Yeah.
They are.
If anything, it's just sort of like just going to show it's like it doesn't have to be main event to go 20 minutes.
Yes. Absolutely, especially on a 3-hour Raw.
It doesn't have to be main event to be good.
Yeah, it's especially on a 3-hour Raw. 9 times out of 10, the best matches are happening in the middle of the show rather than the end.
Yeah.
So make of that what you will. In the bottom line of it. So yeah, it is worth a watch. One watch. I wouldn't go back and re-watch anything from the show, but it is worth a watch. You should catch it this week. And it is quite depressing to hear about Bryan, but there was some good action to be had. And like I said, if you want to see Cesaro being a cruiserweight for a week, awesome. Go for that.
Yeah.
Payback predictions before the end of the show. Got the list of matches here. I find that this show is somewhat a little bit easier to call for me than maybe Extreme Rules was. I had a horrible Extreme Rules predictions. You killed me at Extreme Rules.
Yeah, I did.
So, predictions for this one. In the pre-show, the Meta Powers versus the Ascension.
Meta.
I'm not going to win, but yeah, I'm with you, Matt. The Meta Powers will win.
Don't care.
Don't care as much, yeah. And it's I said this all wrong. The Meta Powers versus the Detention. So I would say
the Mega Powers versus the Legion of Doom.
Yeah,
we're stuck in a time warp.
I tell you what, if I can find tag team matches with the Mega Powers and the Legion of Doom on the network, then I'll probably end up watching them more than I will watch this because it's the actual real deal.
Yeah,
it's not the knockoff bootleg version, shall we say? John Cena versus Rusev 4, The Reckoning. I just made that up to make it seem bigger than it actually is. It's going to be the job ending because Rusev's going to say I quit in this match.
Yep, good.
Are you going with Cena as well?
Yeah.
It's an I quit match. So.
I have no doubt.
The only way I can see Cena losing this match is if Rusev tries to do something to Lana, and then Cena says, "Oh, I quit," just to get him to stop doing whatever he's doing to Lana. So, along those lines. But
they won't do it.
They won't. I don't.
WWE.
Yeah, I don't think they will do it. I think Cena will win this match.
That would be really good, though.
And believe me, I've learned very harshly over the last 10 years not to bet against John Cena in these sort of matches. So, like, last standing matches or I quit matches or submission matches, you don't bet against John Cena, right? That's just the bottom line of it. Regardless of what you feel inside, always go with John Cena. So, that's what I'm going with there. King Barrett versus Neville. The first of there is 4 rematches on this show. Is it? No, 3.
Yeah, because this is technically the rubber
Oh,
match.
it is 4 rematches because you've got Rusev as well. So yeah, 4 rematches on the show. So King Barrett versus Neville. Sorry, it does hurt to keep saying it. Who do you think's going to win this one?
It's the rubber match.
I think Neville's winning.
I think Neville's winning.
Neville's winning.
I think Barrett doesn't need a win.
Barrett got the kingship. Neville gets this win. So technically, Barrett gets to become a king, which isn't that great for him, but in WWE's eyes, it is. And Neville gets to win the rivalry, so it looks like win-win for the pair of them. Even though it's not, but WWE look at it that way. That's the way I see it going. So yeah, Neville for the win.
Mm-hmm.
Ziggler versus Sheamus in a I don't care at all match. Because I don't care at all.
No.
Who do you think's going to win? I think it's going to be a flip of last week. Oh, not last week, last month. So Sheamus wins, but Ziggler forces him to kiss his ass. Yeah. Is that what are we going to go with?
So I generally don't care.
Oh,
it's I think it's just because I don't know what it is. Just this rivalry just isn't working for me.
No, not for me either, to be honest.
But yeah, I'll go with a Sheamus win.
Yeah, Sheamus win, fair enough. New Day versus Kid and Cesaro in a 2 out of 3 falls match, which, to me, makes me think that these guys have got a good chance of stealing the show again. So there is that. I'm going with New Day to retain the belts, though.
Yeah, but it's going to go one apiece.
Yeah, go one apiece. I don't think it would be a straight sweep. Yeah, one apiece, and steal the show again, guys. Honestly, I want you to. It would be great if you can again, because you stole the show at Extreme Rules. So, in a non-extreme match, may I add, I think that's one of the big things we said about that.
The other one thing I find quite funny is the fact that now we're not on Extreme Rules, and well, apart from a I Quit match, like there's not actually, for as many matches that didn't have a stipulation at Extreme Rules, we now have matches with stipulations.
Yeah, like there was a few, like you said, you got the I Quit and
2 out of 3 falls.
2 out of 3 falls. That's it. Yeah, essentially on those lines. Well, they're all too busy getting payback, Matt. That's the way it is. Payback. That's why there's so many rematches. Because it's payback. That's the way it is. I don't like it, but still. Ryback versus Bray Wyatt, because apparently Ryback is in Wyatt's way, so this needs to be dealt with, of course. I go with Wyatt to get the win. I pretty much going with the thinking of Ryback got the one over him leading into the event, so Wyatt will get the win to kick this thing along, and they will end up having 3 matches against each other, all of which I won't care that much about. So, are you going with the same thing? Yeah,
but Ryback's going to win all out.
You think Ryback will win the next 2 matches then?
Yeah.
Got a good chance to. Wyatt's track record ain't that great, shall we say? But yeah, I think Wyatt will win this match anyway. That's the way I look at it. Naomi and Tamina versus the Bella Twins. Now, what we've heard, apparently, you said that it was a news story broke out that Bree's injured, is she?
Well, they threw an exit. They threw up the exit at a live show.
She might still work this match, maybe. I don't know. Maybe in a limited capacity. If this match does go ahead, though, I see Naomi and Tamina getting the win. Even though you may say, well, in your logic, they got the one over them on Raw. I don't know. I'm just going with them to win this, and then maybe it will say, oh, we beat you, so now Naomi gets another title match, which I think she'll win again.
Yeah.
I think it's time for that belt to switch hands at this point. That's what I'm saying. Are you going with them, or will you go Bella Twins?
No, I'll go with them. Like, you don't just bring somebody back. It's like, they've made a return, and then just like shit over them at a pay-per-view.
Well, even if they lost, I don't think it'd be too bad because they maybe could beat them up afterwards, and they won't let it go and stuff like that.
But,
so that could still happen, but no, I just think Naomi and Tamina, because then Naomi's got another reason to get another title match, along those lines. So there is. And if it does happen like that, Naomi gets the winning pin over Nikki. That's the way I see it going. Rollins, Reigns, Ambrose, and Orton in a 4-way match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
Rollins will retain.
Yeah, wow, we've got all the same predictions. Yeah, I'll go Rollins retaining as well. There is a very, very small chance that Ambrose may win this. Very, very small. The thinking being is that they may just give him the belt, so it's not so obvious, and then maybe Rollins will win it back from him. I firmly believe it will be Rollins and Lesnar at SummerSlam, regardless of how they get there, So... But I'm just kind of trying to shake things up. It is going to be Rollins. Come on, everyone knows it's Rollins that's going to be retaining. Rollins will probably get a sneaky win, as in Reigns spears Ambrose, and then gets thrown out the ring. Rollins gets the pin, sort of thing. I don't think because Rollins is the only person in this match without a finisher. So he's going to have to use everyone else's along those lines. So, but yeah, I do see him. I can't see any other way that it's going to be Rollins and Lesnar. I just think it will be Rollins and Lesnar at SummerSlam, so that's how it's going to be. That's it. Getting up to that point. That's all our predictions. All of our predictions are the same. I don't think that's ever happened before, is it?
It almost seems quite lazy.
How am I supposed to beat you, Matt? How am I supposed to beat you? No, it's fine. We only go with what we want. That's the end of the show. Is there anything else you want to add in?
No, I don't think I've got much else to add.
We've had a hectic show this week. Well, not hectic, but fully packed.
Felt hectic.
yeah, it did, yeah. This is the 75th episode of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. I hope you guys did enjoy some of the changes and obviously the episode itself. And if you do have any questions, then please leave us a comment below in the comment section or tweet us, Matt,
at Talk Wrestle Pod.
Love the way you say that. Just amazing.
You
better not be careful to get in my way, though. All right?
Otherwise, we may have to come to blows.
We may have to come to blows if you get in my way. Remember that, guys. If you do want to support the show, if you're a new listener, then hit that subscribe button. You'll be one of the very close to 300 subscribers that we have on this channel. We are hoping to hit 400 by the end of the year, so you can help us get to that milestone. It'd be awesome. And obviously, by I don't have done the math. I'm pretty sure it is. By the end of the year, we will have episode 100 on the channel, so that would be amazing to have on there. And then hopefully if we have 400 by episode 100, that would be crazy. That would be amazing. So yeah, help us along with that. If you're a current listener, as I said, you can leave a comment. As I said, we're very good for answering your questions. We do love doing so. And if you'd like to leave a like on the video, that's always very helpful as well. And you can share it all over social media and all that business. We're still wondering...
all that jazz.
And all that jazz, yeah. We're still wondering whether or not to make the Facebook thing. Maybe we might wait until we've got a few more people on board, but enough fan, push for it, then maybe we'll make the Facebook group as well. But apart from all that, I think that's all the plugging I need to do.
Yeah, I think we're done.
I think I'm all plugged out. That's it. Hope you guys have a great week. Hope you guys do enjoy the pay-per-view tonight. We will be watching it. We will have a review up next week, won't we? I'm sure we will.
I'm sure we will.
Yeah, we'll find time. We always find time. So we will be reviewing Payback next week. I don't count. I don't know about you, Matt, but regardless of the way WWE's treating Elimination Chamber, we may not give that its own review.
I don't think we should.
I don't think we should, yeah. So I think we're going to stick.
I think pay-per-views are Sunday nights, and that's how we will treat it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it still would be on a Sunday night anyway, wouldn't it? But I just think it's.
I don't think it's going. I think it's going midweek, so
really?
Similar to how King of the Ring was.
Oh wow. So, okay, so yeah, I'm with you anyway, Matt. To me, it's a big event, but it's not really a pay-per-view. So I don't think we'll be classing that and giving it a review. We will give it a review, it's just we will make reference to it on the actual episodic show.
Yeah.
Apart from that, we hope you guys have a great week. Hope you guys enjoy the show. And send Matt a tweet over the watching Payback. He probably might be asleep, but he'll answer him in the morning. You can do all the spoilers for him.
I'll probably be asleep for that one. Yeah.
Alright guys, I hope you have a great week again. I've said that loads of times, but I hope you do have one. So that's what I'm saying. And we'll catch you all again next time.
Catch you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.